Welcome to Lorehammer, episode 37, Ork Klans.
Okay, like if you have orcs on, like, let's say like they crashed like spore ship into a planet,
okay,
right? And then so they grew up with no guidance, right? This is like a brandly newly sponged fungused planet.
Sponged.
Well, I'm assuming they're sponges. Like I imagine like the spores like big sponges. Anyways,
And a orc is literally sponging a planet with his spongy seed.
Yeah, exactly.
To create.
But they have no guidance, right? They weren't farmed. They weren't created.
Okay.
Do they still create clans?
Yeah.
So
they're feral.
So they are a genetic.
They're feral orcs at that point. They start.
But then at some point they will create clans, right? Even without any guidance from someone else.
Eventually, over time, like
so it is
get
genetic.
to that place.
Oh fuck! Maybe we should have done research before we start recording
I don't
this
know
episode.
anything about orcs.
No, it's like No, eventually, like they become feral.
Shit, are we on?
And they're living a feral life.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Hi, welcome to Lorehammer. My name is Eric,
You can call me Mark.
or as I like to call him, Stinky Pete.
No, Spicy Pete.
Spicy Pete.
Spicy
That's right.
Pete.
Spicy Pete.
This is Jordan, here with you.
And today, joining us all the way from across the big water,
Our professional
big
orc
pond,
player
the big
that we
wall.
called in.
he has come from the big beyond.
Oh,
Great
g'day,
beyond.
guys! Welcome to another wholesome episode of your favorite Warhammer podcast, Warhammer, or as I call it, Lore Chopper.
And we've been usurped already.
What am I doing here?
It's no longer our podcast.
I told you, we called in a professional orc player since we don't know what we're talking about ever.
Well, Australia is basically like
The land of the orcs?
The land of the orcs. If you see in Mad Max, you just paint them green. It's the same thing. It's all set in Australia.
So I don't think you said his
story.
name. That's Dylan.
Just so everyone knows.
Just so everyone knows who to avoid if you ever meet anyone named Dylan. Just leave.
Yeah. Big red flag.
Big red flag.
Hey, mate.
Understandable.
Put another shrimp on the barbie.
Oh, that was a brilliant accent. Yeah, you nailed that. That
Thank
was
you.
really good.
I think I do good
That was a great
accents.
characterization of my culture.
I more wanted
This is a knife.
What?
You know, when that guy's like, "This is a knife."
You did it well before when you're like goggling marbles or some shit, but like what we were saying earlier. Like your best Australian accent was something like,
talk like you got marbles in the back of your mouth.
it's almost so good. It's not the best though.
No, I pride myself on extremely offensive accents.
I prefer the New Zealand accent myself.
That was
Nice
good. I'll say
pants.
that. It's actually
Are they woven?
That's great.
All right, we'll just do a little roll call here. Mark, check. Present. Jordan,
Present.
present. And Dylan.
Oh, I'm gonna fuck you up. Can't I keep talking
All
like
right,
that.
he's present, but we can just ignore him for now. I think, because
So
that's
is this
just a little rude.
Are we sponsored by Games Workshop yet? Is everything we say?
I don't think they sponsor people.
No.
No, they sponsor ideas. And this is one idea, pointing to myself, that they will never endorse.
Okay.
So we should probably talk about Lorehammer at
Do
some
we
point.
want to ask Dylan some questions? Who the fuck is Dylan?
I mean, who
Oh
the
my
fuck-
god, yeah.
You know
Dylan
what's,
actually...
Yeah, go on.
and then
who
we
are
can
you?
start.
Yeah. Who gives a fuck? Do you know how gorgeous my orcs are? How about we talk about how stunningly painted my army is? That's some
In the colors of teal, orange, and yellow.
And it's like a slight pink, yeah. Like a pastel pink, too.
It is the Great Pink War.
Yeah, we'll have to post some
They are
pictures.
the most gorgeous orcs to run the galaxy. Clearly Goff, because they don't need no camouflage. They are
no, clearly not.
synth wave in nature. They are a light blue on a light pink, and they are stunning.
The thing that I actually really appreciate about your orcs is that every single one is individually named. and for orcs, that's a fucking lot of names. Like you have like 5 that are Brad probably, but one is like Brad, one is like Brad, one is
Brad.
Brad, One is like Barad. Like at some point, you just gotta reuse the name.
Because there's only 10 different names.
Right, of course.
I think I did actually accidentally name the same orc twice. But in the process of painting them, you just have to go with the top name that comes off your head. And what you eventually do is, it doesn't feel orky enough for some of the names, so you try to reduce it to a 3-letter name, and then you try to conceive as many 3-letter names as possible, because that feels the most orky. It's just abrupt. But I mean, like, there's some orcs that are more fancy than others. I have an orc named Hitler. I have an orc named Mum. I have an orc named... Like, there's
Do they get along, variety. Hitler and Mum?
I mean, will they fight in the same ranks, I'd assume? Probably not. They're orcs, right?
Yeah. Probably not.
Yeah, but yeah, very proud. Very proud. If you've seen the images of them all over Mark's Warlord Titan, that was a hell of a conflict.
Infesting.
That's kind of how I imagine it, too. They just start climbing it.
Well, the real question is, how many orc boys does it take to defeat a Warlord
More than what
Titan?
you have.
Probably, yeah. I've only got 90.
But less than what you need. Less than what your heart needs.
You need half of them half as much as they deserve, and they like the other half as much as you think they would want the half of that you deserve to have for the Warlord Titan.
Happy birthday!
I'm following.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
but Dylan is he was a listener. He actually moved to Canada.
I mean, I guess.
Which was awesome.
It was a big mistake.
Obviously, it was Canada.
I'm still trying to figure out like why I did.
We're identified as America's hat. That's our identity.
Well, the thing was, like, in your cover photo on your Facebook, you guys are heaps more attractive than what you actually are.
Photoshop is really dangerous.
If you notice, I'm actually not even in that photo. They actually had to hire in somebody else for that photo.
Oh, I see.
Where do you think all of our Lorehammer funds go to?
Yeah.
That's what I was just about to say. Clearly, all your money is going towards photoshopping.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's expensive out there to try and make Mark look good.
You just have to... We learned you have to get outside talent.
Yeah.
Literally just get
Apparently,
another face.
you just have to fake it. You just lie to everyone.
There is a reason we're on microphones and not in front of cameras.
Faces for radio.
That's what I was gonna say. People have always told me
we have
that
a
Mark
face
has
for
a face for radio.
Yeah.
So
Probably a voice.
At least I got a face.
all
situation.
around me are familiar. Anyways, let's talk about Warhammer. Our first order of the day is we actually have a new Patreon, which is awesome, by the name of
$5 patron.
Oh.
I'm assuming it's okay.
It was a mistake.
You ever
It
seen,
wasn't me.
No. You ever seen Brooklyn
Definitely
Nine-Nine?
wasn't me.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you ever see the part where Boyle has the child?
Oh, yeah. Mikhail?
No, it's like Nicolas.
Oh, yeah, Nicolas.
But he Peralta keeps saying like Nicolas.
Yeah.
And Boyle stops him every time. He's like, no. Nicolas. And it sounds literally the exact same. So that's what I'm going to do with this guy. Your name is Mikolas. Mikolas? Or it's just
Okay, there's an
Nicholas.
M in there.
I don't know.
He's probably triggered right now.
He's probably about to stab the phone and his ears for listening to this.
Simultaneously.
But
Thanks for
Nicholas,
donating.
thank you so much for donating. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I don't know if we said, but we actually ended up buying 2 new microphones and 2 new stands the other week. And
we didn't tell anything.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, your funds
the
go to
supporters.
stuff.
your
that we're
funds do
doing.
things
Yeah.
that are good for us.
So if there's any new Patreons, I don't know what you could spend more money on. Like, you've got 4 mics. What do you want? 6? Do you want a bigger apartment?
Well, I'd like to take a cruise. And
for all the hard work Jordan's put in,
Yeah.
you know.
So that's definitely the next thing.
Yes,
Mark,
we're gonna do a GoFundMe for
And
like
then
12,000 or something.
Yeah.
So
Then
we
after
have
that,
this
we got to ship Dylan back.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
in a crate too.
Yeah.
Like
Probably
in peanut packing.
He's not the only one who has been disappointed.
we can probably just let Immigrations Canada deal with that.
and that'll happen immediately after this podcast. I'm done. I can go home.
Immigrations kind of receives a random phone call, anonymous phone tip.
No, they're probably fans of the podcast. They're like, no, stay, come on, we want to hear you back, and they want to support us. Also, Mark doesn't have enough Warhammer, so please keep giving us money.
Again,
His bathtub
I will
isn't-
say once again, no Lorehammer money actually goes to Mark purchasing Warhammer.
I mean,
Once again, say that.
I've seen the bathtub full of plastic models. Like, it's not quite to the brim, so I think that's the idea. Yeah.
Well, when he gets in it, it overfills.
Get it.
The next thing we do want to buy, though, is we want to buy like a dedicated computer.
That's fair.
Yeah, that would be really
Yeah,
nice.
just a
But
tower or whatever.
that's a little bit of a save up.
So
for
you
that
send us
one.
your money so we can get that, and then
effectively we can just cut the table off right here.
Because we don't need Jordan anymore.
Whoa.
We could replace the...
No, this is where Christian's supposed to sit. Jordan.
Oh, okay.
Just kidding. That was hurtful.
We can replace Jordan with a professional. That's like also a good thing you could spend the funds on.
No, you can't.
If you think we have the money for professional Warhammers, you are absolutely correct.
Warhammerers.
Yeah, because they're cheap as shit because there's none of them.
Okay.
Who's an expert? Nobody. Not even you.
Ah.
Not even me. Are you yiffing? Why are you yiffing?
I'm nervous.
It's fucking weird.
I'm nervous.
All right, let's talk about... actually, no. There's something else on here.
Okay, so we're going to play a game that people love to hate.
Okay.
It's called Orc Voices.
I don't know what that is.
You don't know?
No.
What? Oh, it's
I've
a classic game from back home.
We literally have lived together. What do you mean back home?
You know,
Explain it to me.
Okay, so the game goes like this. We're each going to go around the table, and we are going to do our best orc voice and impression, or whatever.
Do we have to say the same quote?
We could do that, or we could all come up with one off the top of our head.
That's cheating, though, because Joan's going to come up with a good one.
Am I?
You're literally an orc.
I've seen Lord of the Rings, yeah.
What about them? They don't need damn French.
Different orc.
Okay. Shoot.
Fuck. All right.
I'll get there. Anyways, so
You're pulling up a quote right now.
I am.
So we're all going to read the quote, and basically what's going to happen is we're going to see who does the best orc voice.
should pick like a fucking long one.
We're going to do the same.
At least a 20-minute dialogue.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess we're going to do the same one because Eric doesn't want to be creative. Which,
I
to
don't.
me, I thought that was part of the game.
Would you like us to do our own quotes then?
Yeah.
All right.
I have to find a quote now.
Ideally, we should have come here prepared with quotes.
No, because that would ruin the game. It has to
No
be on
organization.
the spot.
Fair enough.
You think orcs come prepared?
Okay.
No.
I've got one that I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Oh, like you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Since you literally have one that you want to do.
Yeah, I do. Okay. me. Ha ha ha. All right.
You're a professional?
It's making me nervous. Gork loves me, and the Mork thinks I the best. No puny umis are gonna kill me, not when the greenest gods in the galaxy is watching me.
You're a troll from WoW. So you do not get my vote. You're like a Jamaican.
What? No!
The dialogue is somewhat similar.
The cross
To the
between
WoW
like a
orc.
gremlin and a retard. I don't know. I can't like ledge somewhere on the scale.
Oh my god. Okay, Mark, you know what? You do it. And let me rip apart your creative talent. Zog off, you get!
There you go.
Okay.
That wasn't a whole chorus. That was more just like
Yeah, that's just
right.
2 sentences.
Yeah, give me one of those.
Bugger off! Anyone can do that, Mark. Give me something real. Give me something with flavor.
Okay. Which one did you read?
I read the one that I read. Was that so difficult to do? The we stomped one.
Bought me a death
Okay,
blaster
okay,
on
that's it.
Rockslag. I already did my quote.
I think
Yeah,
Mark
clearly.
wins.
All right, go ahead, Dylan.
Closest to like, can I have a quote or not?
Oh, you want one?
Yeah, I'll have a quote.
Okay.
Fuck.
I'm gonna pick your
Weird.
quote.
It's
Okay.
weird. Okay, alright. Short and sweet.
To be fair, I think Zog off you
Make
get is
delicious.
probably the most common quote
It-
ever. And he's gonna rape a child.
dogs, lads, getting all killed off. Stupid tinheads. Shoulda have saved some ammo. Rocktooth skits will be arriving any second now. There we go.
He sounds slightly aroused at the end.
Any second.
They're coming. They're coming. They're coming.
It's the life of an orky.
All right, Jordan, you ready?
What am I reading?
Whatever you
I'll
want.
pick your quote. No, I'll pick his quote.
Okay.
You've never read an orc quote?
I have quotes here.
I'm gonna give him
Pick whatever
such
you
a
want.
big one. The one by Gas.
Wait, give him a big
It's
one.
like an entire page.
Yeah, give him a real big one, Aaron.
Yeah.
Like a real big one.
Yeah, okay.
It's what you
This
used
one
to,
right here,
right?
Jordan.
Okay. There's just one thing with cans whatever bothered about. Sitting on that spring gives you pals.
All I heard out of that was balls.
It should be somewhat indistinguishable.
I mean, yeah, no, it is. Like, that's orc, right? Like, you don't know what they're saying.
Okay.
Man, so why do orcs talk like that? Why aren't they articulate?
Well, so
What need do they have for language when they let their choppas and fists do the talking?
I guess. But I mean, they could take some time to read some books. Like, what kind of race are we talking about?
Because they don't need to read.
Okay.
They're beyond such petty things.
It's books and
They've
pages.
transcended.
So just on that quick language thing, like when we were just listening to that audiobook, and at the beginning, the orcs were like, "Gob get gash gunesh," and like they were speaking like proper orcish. Like orcs have their own language that is not broken English.
Yeah, but they speak common as well.
That's actually a very good point.
Like orcs have their own language that is
Yeah.
not them humies. Like that's when they're talking to a human, ideally, or talking
yeah.
in
Logos.
English.
When they sound
It's like
Cockney-
broken English.
Exactly,
Yeah,
right?
when they sound like
But they-
Cockney Brits.
Yeah, but they actually have their own language that is not English words.
And it's actually
So-
very cool to listen to because like it's actually very orcish, and it's
Yeah.
what you'd imagine that will come out of their mouths if they
Yeah.
were to speak. It's surprising to hear them talk English.
Yeah. And I don't think it's common. I think that they just do that so we can understand that. Like it's like a translation. Like
Yeah, and
like
it's-
if you had
and
like
it's stylized.
like if you had a translator, like that's like what the translator would like translate it the best it could. You know,
And it adds that
But-
comedic value, I guess,
Yeah,
like
but-
because it is humorous in
Yeah.
nature. Yeah.
Okay, so that was the game. Who won that? I like
Oh, I'm
Jordan.
Dylan.
I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Okay, Dylan will take it.
I'm voting for Dylan.
What do I
Jordan, who are you voting for?
Do I win a humble bumble?
No.
I vote for myself. Sorry.
Oh, that's 2-2. Who are you voting for, Dylan?
I'm gonna vote for myself.
2-2. Great.
Okay, this is what
Okay.
happens when you have 4 people.
This
Fuck,
is-
man. We're
I've
idiots.
always known I need less friends.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll fight to the death.
All right,
As
everyone,
long as
put a
the shot
finger
goes-
in, and whoever has the shortest finger is getting it cut and getting cut from the group.
Yeah, Eric, that's your penis. Put that back.
But it's the smallest thing I have. Aw.
Classic. Okay, so I think we're done dicking around. We want to get into the episode?
Yeah.
Really quickly, though.
Oh. Okay, one more dick around?
Yeah, one more. So we're going to run a little bit of a contest. Starting at the release of this episode, and what we're giving away is the game key to the Warhammer 40k Space Marine game. But the
Oh, that's awesome!
which
That's
is
like my
the-
favorite game when it came out like 7 years ago.
That's good. Some classics never die. Like,
And that is a classic
when
game that is
FF7
still
comes
really
out,
good.
I still go and purchase that and play it.
When Skyrim gets re-released, I still
You
buy
better believe I play it
every
on all
fucking-
6 consoles.
So is this game remastered? Like that's why it's come back out.
It's
Oh, it's not.
nope. It is.
Why
the
are we giving this
but
away?
It's the collector's edition.
Seems like a weird thing to give
Well,
away a
I'm
7-year-old
sure there's a
game.
story behind it, but you know, like.
Contest!
Well, what happened was there's the Warhammer Humble Bundle
Yeah.
that just came out, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't know any of these games, like I'll do that in a heartbeat.
I've heard of Warhammer.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds awesome.
So I did it, and I start like redeeming my keys, only to find out like, oh man, like I already own Warhammer Space Marine, the game. I was like, I can't redeem this again.
Yeah.
And I was like, so what am I going to do with it? And I was like, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll make a contest on Lorehammer.
Wow.
I'll give it away to anyone who wants to join. So,
So gracious.
Yeah, right.
Much kind.
what it's going to be is you need to go check out our Facebook page because we're going to do a draw. But the rules and the details of all that is going to be on our Facebook or on our Instagram. You can check out either. We're going to run it for a couple weeks, and then we'll announce our winner. But just if you want to enter it, just go check out our Facebook. But you could get a Warhammer Space Marine game key collector's edition.
Valued at $89 a pair.
82.59. Okay, don't pump it up beyond what it is.
So people can become rewarded from your stupidity because
Yes.
you are unable to identify you already own.
You
a
know, I
video
actually
game.
thought I even had looked through my library for all those games, and I was like, I don't have them.
To be fair, though, you probably still would have bought that Humble Bundle.
Probably, it was a great deal.
Have you not
Like,
beat Space Marine? It's been out for fucking what 50
I've
years.
literally
7
never played
years.
it. I own it, and I've never played it. So
It's
today I
honestly
downloaded.
It's a great game, and if you haven't played it,
It is.
like
So actually, what I'm going to do is
Yeah.
I'm actually going to start streaming it.
yeah. You should.
So-
Yeah. Okay. We'll link you streaming it to.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I'll do that.
To our
Yeah.
Facebook
especially
page.
if it's like Warhammer games, because I
Yeah.
just got a fuck ton of them.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
an Ork player, I really appreciate you streaming a video game that's just basically the genocide of Orcs.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Where there is a major villain and
Yeah.
you're basically just streaming through hordes of greenskins.
Yeah.
That's
We're
really,
just minding their own business.
I don't think that's in the flavor of this episode. You could have waited to a different episode.
I could have, but I didn't want to.
Oh, fuck, Eric. Fuck.
I wanted you to be here as I talked about how great it was to systematically wipe out an entire race.
Now here, watch me play it as we play this episode.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we're gonna run a contest. Check out our Facebook.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, now that we've burnt how many minutes of an episode?
We're deep.
Let's get into it. Let's talk about Ork Klans.
War. No, I'm not going to say war because every other podcast.
What's a
yells
wa?
war.
I only know about wogs.
Wargs?
Like
a
warg.
warg.
They're what orcs ride. Yeah.
A warg.
Like warg, yeah?
Yeah.
They're like the wolf kind of beast.
And then
I
one
can
of them
only
will
assume you guys are doing...
cliff. Right?
Fuck.
Do you remember that scene? When
don't know.
Dumbledore
Oh, yeah.
is talking to the warg?
Oh, yes.
Right? And
right
then,
after Luke Skywalker.
and then Spock.
Yeah.
That's fucked.
That's not a movie. Fucked. So we're going to talk about orc tribes and clans and kind of really get into details about the different things and
More
why
clans
they are.
than tribes.
Yeah, tribes are very loose, but different clans. Clans are a thing.
Clans are. Let's start by breaking down what an orc tribe is for you.
Yeah, a tribe is basically all the orcs in a particular area. There's no hard and fast
So
rule.
it's just location.
Yeah, and the location could be an entire planet, an entire sector, or just in this room.
Yep.
Like-
This is an orc tribe.
Yeah, like it's no fast rules.
No.
Or only fast rules. Hard
Ooh.
rules?
We're getting,
Hard and fast.
We'll
Hard
get to
and
speak
fast
culture
rules.
later. Yeah.
Yeah. A tribe, like normally when it's big enough to become a tribe, it's made up of multiple war bands.
Yeah.
And then even though like a tribe is led by a single warlord, which is just a war boss that
Yep.
is given the title of warlord, he's just bigger than all the other war bosses.
Like Deathskulls, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But also you can have just like a tribe can be like I don't want to be wrong here, but like, could you not just have a tribe of like 50 orcs and there still is a warlord in charge of that tribe?
One would assume.
Like Deathskull is a massive warlord.
Correct.
You can also have much smaller warlords.
Yeah.
Okay.
Consider this.
Yeah.
You have a tribe, and everyone in that tribe considers himself a war boss.
Well,
There would still be one warlord though.
There still would be one lord.
if
war
everyone's
lord.
a war boss,
Yeah.
then no one's a war boss.
No, because there's always going to be one bigger.
but basically, there's no hard and fast rules. They do what they want.
It's
They're
orky
orcs.
stuff, man.
Yeah.
So there's a warlord in charge of everything, and then he will pass authority down to a bunch of different war bosses who are in charge of war bands. And so this is kind of just the chain of command and extremely simple. Orcs are just, there's no fuckery.
Yeah.
There's no men at arms. There's no men at whatever. Right? When Mark listed his night house.
Yeah. Recruit at arms.
Right, exactly.
Man at arms.
No.
Soldier at arms.
Cook at arms.
Cook at arms.
Like I said before,
Lawnmower at arms.
it's a harmonious simplicity. It's just the bigger orc is the better orc.
Right,
And it's
exactly.
just-
And-
the biggest orc is the warlord, and then the slightly smaller orcs are the war bosses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark was saying that like tribes don't really matter in terms of who's in them or where they are, and that's very true because it's really transient. Like you can leave a tribe. anytime
Don't say
you want.
trans too many times.
Yeah.
so.
Like,
Transient. If
Sorry,
you don't
okay,
know
my
what that
apologies.
word
Sorry, I
is,
apologize, yeah, okay.
if you're listening and that triggers you, you just need to go get a dictionary and
keep
look
going.
up the word transient. Anyways,
what's a dictionary? Just
you would ask that.
You wouldn't know.
we haven't got
so they
there.
can leave a tribe at any time they want. You can join a tribe at any time you want.
Yeah.
But obviously you got to be in that location. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're not gonna join a tribe that's on another planet,
Unless you were there.
unless you were there. Correct.
Boom. A tribe in its entirety is where you'll find like the biggest assortment of orcs.
Yeah.
So
You'll find everything from your regular boy to the massive stomper.
yeah, and you'll find like squigs and grots and boys and knobs and mega
Stompers
knobs
and boys and knobs and stompers
and
and boys and knobs
deathcopters
and stompers
and-
and boys and knobs.
That was loud. That's very nice drumming, Mark. Makes me really think I'm in an orc war band.
That's why we released the episode a week late. I had to practice that drum solo
That was it,
for
hey.
a full week.
That was what you did in Mexico. That's where you got
For a
your
full week, yes.
your creative juices running.
Yeah.
I think you made the orcs proud. I think
You know.
drumming is well in sync.
It would have been really funny if like we heard like the neighbor just yell like "Whoa!"
It's just like, oh, it's fucking orc cry.
Okay, well, that's how it starts apparently. Some orc is actually just hammering on a piece of armor, and then a wall starts for no reason.
So we're an orc tribe, and if us all in this room is an orc tribe, then what individual kind of orcs would we be? I mean, like, would we be mechs? Would we be tank busters?
You want to go for that? Okay.
I mean, like an orc tribe consists of like all the orcs, right? So any type
Yes.
of orc that can possibly exist.
But I I have no idea because I don't know how many orcs there are or what they do.
I would be a shouter boy, which is basically just a boy that just yells really loud.
Do you carry weapons? Like you're an orc?
No, you just fucking yell. A shouter boy. I think I'm pretty good at that. You get me all riled up, I'll start shouting.
Me? It's not me. You get yourself riled. We do not rile each other up. What's that one movie? Oh man.
Yeah, but so then you have tribes, and it consists of like every type of orc you can possibly think of, and then you got warbands, which will actually consist of like certain specialties or certain flavors, and each one is led by a war boss, and that war boss kind of directs the way his like war or his
band.
His clan. No, not clan.
Warband.
Yeah. The way it goes. So some war bosses, like to be more choppy, and some like to be more shooty. Well, and it kind of, that's where you get more individual flavor.
And so there's many war bands within a tribe of orcs.
Exactly.
Correct. Yeah. And the war bands have their own flavor and their own characteristics, which help define them from each other.
Yeah. So even if you're in a tribe though, and you're mixing with other war bosses, you still prefer to like stick with your own clan. So we know that tribes, you can go cross tribe. Like you can go find different other tribes if you want.
Yeah.
But clans are more, you're in the clan not for life, but it's not as flexible. What the fuck are you doing over there?
I'm just playing peekaboo.
Fuck your weed, Eric.
You lasted a lot longer than
It's not a hard or fast rule. Like,
No, exactly.
and they will mingle with each other, and they'll still interact, and they get things from each other, but they're not
clans aren't really changing clans. Like you're in a clan, that's a clan you're in. You're not really changing.
And there's a potential reason for this that we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
But orcs, tribes, again, very transient. Doesn't matter where you go. You can move all the time.
They can be
but
full
clans,
of 1,000 orcs or 20 or 10 billion.
Clans is kind of where your identity comes from.
Yeah, correct.
This describes how you act as an orc itself.
And we'll get into that, yeah.
So speaking of, let's just dive right into clans then.
We're not doing it for another episode? I thought that's what we do. I thought we lead up to something and we say,
yes,
well, we're
clans is coming later in a different episode.
Yeah.
Soon, TM.
I have to say, as a listener, it is probably the most infuriating thing. The amount of times you guys said, "Oh, that's an upcoming episode. We're not going to talk."
So
about
Mark
it
and I
now."
actually had a conversation the other night.
Yeah.
Like 20-second conversation, and we were like, "How long is Lorehammer?" I asked him, I was like, "How long do you think Lorehammer is going to last? Like, how long are we actually going to do this for?"
And I responded, I'm pretty fucking close to killing you, Eric.
Well, what actually happened was because we looked at each other for a second, and then we're like, because we've barely even scratched the surface of what Warhammer is.
Kind of as a whole, yeah.
Mark's like, we could probably do it forever. Just continue to make episodes about it. So the reality is, like, we have so much fucking to cover still.
Yeah, like, so we do get quite a bit of emails, like, when are you going to talk about the Dark Angels, or when are you going to talk about this? It's
When
like,
are you going to talk about this specific battle that happened?
Yeah,
Like,
it's like,
brother, if I need to do that, like, we got to talk about the 5 alien races that were part of it first.
Yeah.
Right? And, like, the lead up to that and why they had the battle.
yeah.
And
So
as much as I love it.
So there's a reason why we say it, because if we don't say it, people email us. They'll think that we'll never talk about it.
Right, of course. But we're totally gonna.
So as a listener, you're in here for the long haul. Like, if your episode hasn't come along yet, it will eventually come. Maybe tomorrow.
Here's what you got to do. You got to move to our city, to Calgary.
Yeah.
And
Live
then
in my parents' basement.
badger us until we do an episode
Right.
of your army, and then you can join us.
That makes sense,
Or
yeah.
or if you're like, I really love this battle, come and prove it.
So what you need, guys,
Show
is
us
to-
that you love it by moving to our city and being on our podcast.
So you're promoting stalking Mark and Eric in order to gain information from them about
No,
Warhammer.
don't stalk me and Eric. Stalk Jordan.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
the one with all the power.
Exactly.
Oh, I see.
He's the one who determines the direction of the podcast.
Yeah.
He's silently powerful. Is
Oh,
that, is that his role
absolutely.
here? I see,
Absolutely.
okay.
Like, do you not
That's
see him
who
in
you
his
wa-
throne over there, Jordan? Jeez.
Me and Eric are just idiots that yell at each other.
Where do you think our Lord
Shout
Hammer-
boy!
I was going to question the crown that he's wearing. but,
This is where our Lorehammer money actually goes, is to bedecking out Jordan and his regal jewels.
Bedecking.
I don't. Was that? That's definitely not the
Never
right
heard
word.
that word before.
What
it's
would
like, we understood the context. It's fine.
bejewel?
Bedazzling.
Bedazzle?
Snaz guns.
Yeah. Yeah.
One quick thing on the topic of people moving here.
Yeah.
My buddy Matt from the UK isn't moving here,
Holy crap! I was about
You
to
were
just
nervous.
throw a shit fit.
but I think he is coming here on vacation in the springtime. I think he's
I was
trying
going
to
to say,
plan.
don't do it in winter. Dylan will tell you. It's a
Don't-
wretched time.
Yeah,
well,
it's
he's
a
from the UK, so
big
he
fucking
also
mistake.
has a wretched life there.
No, but UK is like, I mean,
Dreary and sad.
yeah, it's
not
much wetter
cold.
than here, but it's not as cold
Yeah.
as it is here.
But I'm excited. So now he's gonna listen to this, and hopefully he'll send me a voice message, and hopefully it'll brighten my day,
Or it won't.
or it won't.
Well, you need more boyfriends. I mean, like he could whatever he can give to you.
Look, there's only so much time you can spend in a garage with a bunch of dudes. That's like an episode 1 quote right
Yeah.
there.
So clans.
Clans.
We will talk about them this
yes.
episode.
Clan.
So here's an interesting thing we did about this episode is orcs are just so fun that we just found a buttload of quotes with orcs. So this we just inserted them in our notes because they're just really fun. But I guess how we're gonna do it is like, who wants to say the first quote?
I'll say it.
All right.
So this is a quote about orc clans. Thinking is for gits, but everyone's a git. So you might as well think like some other gits. And that's the great philosopher Orchimedes.
That actually makes me so happy. Comedians. Jesus Christ.
We've got another quote about clans.
I'll give it a go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Darren.
all right. Each of their clans is their own particular things, see? The Evil Sunz is fast and loves their trucks. The Deathskulls is a bunch of filchers. Bad Moons is snobby and flash. The Blood Axes is a pack of filthy Umi lovers. And the Snakebites is just weird. Us Goffs is the biggest and the greenest and the meanest, of course. That's what makes us the best bosses. That is Galthazar Goff Hardboy. Yeah, I recognize that quote.
That's just an art boy though, and he's bragging about being the best boss.
No, I mean, I can see why.
He's proud of his boss.
Well, the Goffs are the best clan, so I can see, I can relate to this quote.
So from that quote, there are actually 6 major clans. There's a bunch of minor ones potentially.
There are
but-
unknown number of
but
clans.
there are 6 clans that have actually spread across the entire galaxy, and they're common and well known.
There's 6 clans that are Games Workshop endorses.
Yeah.
There's enough clans for them to give them stratagems. That's the real thing.
Yeah.
But you kind of get the flavor that even this Galthaza views them as very different from each other.
Yeah.
So clans are gatherings of like-minded orcs
Yeah.
that share personality traits. So they think very similar, they'll act very similar, they
Yeah.
like similar things, they dislike similar things.
Yeah, like that quote, like the ones like they're all flash and they like flashy bits.
Yeah, Bad Moons is snobby and flash.
Yeah. And I
Like,
was reading-
you would be able to tell what clan they're in based on what they look like.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And I was reading the codex, and that actually comes from like an orc finds its way into its own clan because they find something that they like and they get such a visceral high from. Like it might be like shooting loud guns, it might be racing fast cars, and then they only want to do that thing. So
Yeah.
it's this huge high that they get from this particular thing that they
Yeah.
love so much that they eventually find other orcs that are
You ever
attracted towards
think
the
that
same
the
thing.
high is actually like when they're racing cars, just gasoline leaks, perhaps?
I mean, it's a little from column A, a little from column B. Okay.
Hard to say.
Hard to.
As a wise man once told me, hard to say.
Some orcs like gasoline, some orcs like snorting squigs, some
Yeah.
orcs, like, it depends,
They like the loud guns, and really it's giving them concussions, and that's why they think they're happy.
So here's kind of where my question comes, that we were kind of discussing at the beginning of the episode, is if there's no guider, like if you've never heard, if you're an orc who is like, let's say there was an orc infestation on the planet and the people put down the orcs, so there's no more orcs, but obviously orcs always come back,
Yeah.
right? And there's no one there farming you or guiding you. How do you know to make a Goff clan? How do you know to make a Snakebite clan?
Well, I think you would you wouldn't identify yourself in that clan name, but you might share traits that also shared with that clan coincidentally. And then when you come in contact with people of that original clan, you're like, oh, it turns out we like the same thing. Oh, it's a natural fit. So it's like, it just depends. The orcs may gravitate naturally towards the things that they particularly like. They just might not put a label on it.
So here's my only problem with that is that would mean every single orc that, like, so let's say there's 2 orcs on polar opposite sides of the galaxy.
Sure.
Those orcs and somehow have heard the same words.
Heard the same word.
Right?
What do you
So
mean?
if there's a Goff on the bottom southwest corner of the galaxy,
Right.
and there's a Goff on the top northeast galaxy,
Is that what opposite means?
yeah, that's literally...
Yeah,
Like,
no,
me
I
keeping
know.
up?
Everyone knows.
Are you following?
Even I know what opposites
All
are.
I'm saying is that if both of those guys are Goffs, how do they both know they're Goffs unless they've both heard the word Goffs at some point from the same person, or from someone who heard it from someone else, who heard it from someone
Well,
else?
it's just a labeling issue. Like, they could both be Goffs in nature, but they might not put a label.
But that's
onto
not
it
true at
until-
all, because Goffs act and dress
Sure.
and prefer certain things. Like so how do, if your character is that I'm the biggest and I'm the baddest,
Yeah.
but also like you just love the color black, that
Well,
doesn't make any sense.
You might not necessarily just love the comic black, but you might share enough characteristics with someone to like still bleed into that culture.
So, but the
It might
whole,
not be
the
all
whole thing about a
characteristics
culture is that like it's like a clan isn't
Yeah.
just like a little bit like it. Like you
Sure.
embody it as a whole. It's not like some Goths are biggest.
Well,
it's like all Goths are the
Some
biggest.
Goths could be Goth-like, and then there's like the core of the Goths themselves. And
So
when
are you saying like an orc member could be like part Goth but also part Bad Moon?
in some ways,
I disagree.
Until they finally find the right tribe that like it fits their identity more.
Well,
and then they
it's
go
one or the other.
All in on that.
It's one or the other.
But if they're
You're either a Goth or you're a Bad Moon.
Well, they're completely disconnected from like either of those clans. They might like particular things. They might like a little from column A, a little from column B, and it's not until they interact with one of those actual clans that calls themselves Goth or Bad Moons. They go, "Oh, okay, this is everything that like I want in life, and I can see that like this path," and then they go with that clan.
If every orc in the galaxy died immediately, like right now,
Sure,
right, and then
heaven
obviously,
forbid,
right?
Gork forbid.
Let's pretend that humanity
Orcs
actually
forbid.
actually did their job and they got rid of all the orcs.
Hey, man.
In a decade when the orcs all come back to life, right? Would the Goths still exist?
That's interesting. There'd probably be a new like formation of.
So you don't think-
would they still be called Goths?
That's my
is the
question. Would they call themselves Goths?
Yeah, I mean probably not because the Goth name would be dead. They might call themselves something different. That would make sense.
I disagree.
Why?
I truly think it's a genetic thing built into them.
The name of Goth and
Absolutely,
everything it means to be
absolutely
a Goth. Interesting.
You'll find Goths
Because-
from completely separate parts of the galaxy that share the same iconography. What drives them to
Yeah.
go to that?
That's a
And,
good
and we
question.
do know that orcs have genetically built-in like levels of technology. Like they
Yes.
automatically know how technology works even without going to school. They are some orcs already know how to build a plasma conduit.
Correct. Yeah.
Right? So you could think that since they have those built into them genetically, they also have these certain personalities also built in and these certain names.
I guess you're right because that it appears to be the nature of orcs.
Yeah.
There's this weird biological like fundamental level to them
Yeah.
that seems to as they grow and mature like that seems to come out.
Yeah.
And that what makes them either a tank buster or like a mad doc or like
Yeah.
whatever. And that could be equally true.
And how would they
for
even know
clans.
that? How would
Yeah.
they know how to be a mad dog
Yeah.
if no one ever showed them? It's just part of who you
They
are.
just know it.
How do they,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they call themselves a mad
Yeah,
dog
you're
too.
right.
So how would
Yeah.
they know that they're called a goth
No,
if
no,
no
fair
one ever
enough.
told them?
Yeah, no, I think you're actually right. Yeah, I think you're on the button there.
I like the idea of the column A and column B. I like because that kind of tells us that there's infinite number of clans out there.
Sure.
Right? Like if
Which would probably also be true.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course, yeah. But I also like the idea that like now like you've been chosen from
You've been born and raised to be a goth, and this is the way you're meant to be.
yeah,
You're
even
fundamentally
though like
biologically
even though no one is a
predisposed.
goth around you,
Yeah, yeah.
you're like fuck it, I'm a goth. I'm the biggest.
You start putting checkers on your body, and you're
Exactly.
like,
Now I'm a
yeah.
goth. Yeah.
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 Anyways,
Fuck goths are awesome.
that
man.
wasn't supposed to be
Jesus Christ.
as big of a tangent
No,
as
let's
it
just keep
was.
talking
But it was
Goths.
good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
They're the
For once,
biggest
somebody
out
else
of
was
it.
getting pissed. Wait, no one was getting mad. Why do I
No,
think
that
everyone
was a civil
pissed?
discourse, Mark.
You have a cynical view of the world, Mark.
So here's something. While you cannot change your identity, you can fake it till you make it. So Mark and I kind of had the conversation of what
Well, even
happens.
Dylan was kind of on this
Yeah,
side, too.
it's like what happens if you have two clans, a Goth and a Bad Moon, and everyone in the Goth dies except for one. Like I mean, I'm sure you can become a freebooter, but also we're saying, well, what if he just fakes being in the Bad Moons until enough people are Goths again that he he's in his own Goff clan.
Well, I think the orcs are like simplistic minded enough where they kind of easily distractible and they'll kind of like go with the flow if that's what everyone in the environment is doing.
Yeah.
So I think that would actually be natural for an orc. And it's not until they come across other orcs that share like the same actual interests and flavor as them.
Exactly.
They connect with that and go, oh, this is what I meant to be doing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. What if an orc had no access to a bike? Like his clan, they just never use bikes. He doesn't know that he likes going really fast. And then the first bike he sees, like
Really fast.
He thinks like chopping is the best, but then he sees a bike and it's like it clicks in him and he's like, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah. So now this isn't necessarily canon or it's hard to confirm, but like it's possible that when you have a squad of boys, there might actually be multiple clans in there, but usually the clan will be led by a knob or a war boss, and he will kind of give his personality and his flavor to all the boys underneath him.
Yeah.
But
Orcs is just really transient. There's no hard and fast rule that says if you're ruled by like a Goff boss, everyone has to be a Goff. There's nothing that says that.
Well, yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, do you think it's true that you got a war boss that it has a particular like set of values or beliefs, for example, and then everyone under him is subservient to the same thing? Or do you think that there's a mob of boys that like the same particular thing, and then a war boss emerges from that, like naturally? Because the way you just painted it was like there's a war boss, and then he's in charge and he likes this particular thing. Therefore, all the other boys must like this particular thing. Or do you think that's the other way around?
Chicken and egg right there.
yeah,
I mean, it's-
exactly.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
there's always a war boss. As soon as one war boss dies, there's already another.
As soon
war
as there's
boss.
two boys, one person is in charge.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
valid. yeah.
there's hard to say chicken egg for sure.
Yeah,
But it's a thing.
Well, what's really nice
Potentially.
about this is it gives you so much freedom.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
Like,
what orcs are the best because they're just they're so fluid in so many different ways. You know, like
it allows for like you and another guy to have like completely opposite orc armies and for both to be okay.
Yeah.
and to compare that to something like the Imperium, which is so like strict and like
You're on heresy territory right now.
Heresy watch.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about no heresy.
Yeah, no, it's cool. But having said that, there definitely is predominant clans with predominant identities, and they do things a certain way. And even though the orc will have like predisposition, they can still
again.
prepositions.
Yeah, go on.
Prostitution.
Even though an orc will prostitute itself.
They can still fulfill any combat role within a clan.
Yes. Yeah. So like there are some like Goffs just really love getting in there, but that doesn't mean a Goff can't have a really big shooter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah, correct,
He can still do whatever the hell he wants, but he just still identifies as a Goff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. There's
So-
major and minor clans. Let's talk about the 6 major
Yeah,
clans.
so at this
go
point
for it.
we've thrown around a couple clan names,
Yeah.
and let's actually talk about like what it means to be those clans
From the
now.
top.
So well, the first clan we're going to talk about, obviously the most important clan. No, that's not true.
Freebooters.
We're the best. Think different, do ya? Come and have a go then, you runty little wimp.
And that is Gus Rock Goff Knob.
I like the way you're like doing your hand.
Wriggling his hands. Yeah. It makes me think of Grima Wormtongue.
Yeah. That's more like grot movement than orc movement.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm actually more Gretchen than I am Orc.
Yeah.
I mean, we would all be grots. So the first clan we're going to talk about is Goffs.
Yeah.
obviously.
So like Goff's my favorite. Can I take it?
Yeah,
So
sure.
like, so the Goff is the orkiest orc. Like they are. If you think about an orc, you probably the biggest representation of an orc would be a Goff. So like the bigger orc, the better. Like they value size, they value strength. They are boots on the ground. They are heavily infantry. Like you don't muck about with shooters and tanks and stompers. You just get more boys, and the bigger the boys, the better the Goff. And that's generally how it works. Like the hierarchy is simply like to have the biggest orc possible. They're just brutal and ferocious, and they're all about strength, and they don't muck. They're no mucking about. That's the whole premise of them.
There's this one funny line where it's like, if a war boss is running across a field, all the other boys beneath them, they believe that there's something across that field worth running at. So they all just run in the belief that once they reach the other end of that field, there's something to fuck up.
Yeah, it's like zombies in the same way. You know,
Yeah.
as soon as one zombie hears a thing, all the rest of the zombies follow. Orcs are kind of similar in that way.
Yeah. But Goths will look for any excuse and even make up excuses to fight amongst themselves. And that plays into that. That's why they're the biggest and the toughest, because they're always fighting. They're not worrying about tinkering with a vehicle necessarily. They're fucking fighting all the time. When they're not fighting, they're fighting.
And it's interesting.
Well, yeah, when they're not fighting other things, they're fighting each other.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
And and it's interesting because they kind of because they like fighting so much, and they value like warfare, like chopper on chopper warfare. That's the core of the Goths. Like they just want to fist fight to the death, and like because of that, they actually have this kind of weird like honor system. It's like they're not about mucking about, and that can kind of translate to like they don't care about camouflage. They don't care about tactics or anything like that. Like they're just brute force at the end of the day.
Yeah, and particularly they're not fond of like commandos and stuff. And
yes,
it's not even only that they don't use it themselves. They see people who use stuff like that as what do they call it? Flinches.
Flinches.
Yeah,
that's not an Australian word. I couldn't tell you. That's an Orcish word. I don't really use that. Someone who flinches, would that be?
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
okay.
Yeah, it's like a coward, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
like if you're not willing to run headlong to the enemy to get like fight them up close with an axe, like you're not even an orc.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You don't fuck around. Like you're wearing. I mean, Goths. Okay, so like my army is technically Goth, even though I paint them in pink and blue. So it strikes true with the whole like fuck camouflage rule, but it doesn't strike true with the whole like Goths are predominantly like black and check colored. But anyway, that's why mine is Goth-like.
Yeah. Well, it can be minor. It's a minor clan.
Yeah.
Based off Goths. Like, yeah, like.
It's a sub clan.
Yeah.
Sub-clan.
You can still be Goth.
Sub-clan.
It's fine. I like that you rationalize it.
I mean, with orcs, it doesn't really need to be rationalized.
I mean, they're still just the best because they're just like it's similar to like Warcraft orcs, right? They're just so brutal. Like they're so aggressive. They're so animalistic. They're so barbaric. They're so like
Sexy.
like. Sorry, what was
Beautiful.
that?
Sexy.
Have you met
Cuddly,
Thrall's wife?
fluffy.
Hello.
Ooh.
She got a booty.
She got an ass that don't quit.
Oh yeah, bud.
So the next competition.
It was crazy
is,
when Thrall shaved his hair, though. That was weird.
But orcs don't have hair, right? It's a squig growing out of their brain, right?
I don't think it's
That's
growing
true.
out of their brain.
It's-
but
No,
it is
it's like
a-
latched on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
something like that,
yeah,
right?
and it just like
yeah.
sucks their skin.
So
or
the
whatever.
top knot isn't actually hair. It's like a squig.
squig.
That's like
It's-
a squig's hair.
It's a
and
snack.
It's a snack, essentially.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Though they could eventually eat that squig.
Would
when
that
it
not
gets
be
big
weird
enough.
if you had a top knot and you just one day decided to pull that from the top of your skull and just put it into your mouth?
Do you
And be like,
imagine
"Yeah,
like
I'm done."
someone like an orc that has like real hair, but it's just like 50 squigs all lashed on their head?
It's like an afro of squigs.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Jesus Christ.
So let's talk about the glyph of and orcs use glyphs, just little symbols that mean a lot of things. If you check out the new codex, which just came out recently, which was thank God it came out before we needed to do this episode.
Oh my God.
Maybe that's why we
my
were
God.
week late.
Don't get me started.
We
no,
heard
it's-
October and we're like,
Sorry.
we'll get a codex right away.
Yeah.
It's
No codex,
a year
though.
and a half late. Sorry. Yeah, only a year and a half. It's not like orc is a popular race or anything
No,
that
not really,
people
no.
actually buy models for. Yeah.
But there's like 3 solid pages in the codex that have glyphs.
Yeah.
And on these glyphs, it's a bunch of different shapes
Yeah.
that just describe things. And there's one in it, is my favorite one. I swear it's a fist giving the middle finger.
Oh, yeah.
What
and
does it mean?
it means like God or
What?
something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Is someone flipping like it's a...
I swear, like if you
my
have the
God.
codex, go check it out.
That's pretty funny.
I'm pretty sure it's the one that means God.
Because they're essentially like symbols to represent words. So obviously
Yeah.
they're going to paint these on
It's a
things
glyph.
so they can... Yeah. One of my favorite was like the numerical system. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah, I was
it's
gonna say
1,
that.
2, 3, 4, 5. And then after that, it's just lots. It's like, the numbers stop.
And then
there.
there's even one for like lots and lots.
Yeah.
So the glyph for a Goff is a bullhead.
Yeah.
So the reason being is that they apparently feel a kinship with any short-tempered beast that is violent and flatulent,
Horny animals. Like generically horny,
like
right?
horny goatweed.
People that are horny.
So you'll even see lots of Goffs that just wear like horned helmets.
Yeah, like Viking horn.
Yeah, as an homage to this. But
Yeah.
even so, it's like, but every Goff knows this is just like another weapon to be used when they're smashing
Which is
fists.
cool as fuck, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like your head is a weapon. Like that's such a cool concept, right?
Usually when people say that, they think of intelligence and not physically smashing. Oh, he's so smart.
smarts.
His brain's a weapon.
But you wouldn't know anything about that, would you, Mark?
No, that's why I said
Yeah.
apparently.
That's why you wear a horned helmet.
Yes.
So you take it more literally than...
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I'm a literal guy.
Wait, my head is supposed to be a weapon? Attaches spikes to it.
The primary color of the Goths is black, and occasionally they do that checkered pattern, like
their
like a
war gear,
chessboard
apparently.
pattern or whatever. Yeah. And this is because dressing up as flashy colors is for wimps and the mad boys. But
But no. If you read my lore,
Looking at you,
would
Dylan,
understand
for
my-
the wimps and the mad boys.
Well, I have a proper explanation in my own army's lore.
We'll just
so
have to hear about that
I
later.
guess that,
yep,
yeah.
and judge it harshly.
Oh,
very critically.
severely. It's going to be so much better when I can watch someone's face actually fall while I'm judging.
Hey, man. Hey, man.
Lots of war bosses and knobs are Goths, as they tend to be the biggest and bossiest around, which totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? Because the bigger and stronger, just you're a boss. And if these guys, their whole thing is about fighting and getting big, they're naturally going to take positions of leadership.
Yeah. So that's pretty much the Goths. Like you can really distinctly see like what they're about. Big, strong, green.
Yeah, just the orkiest orcs. Like, they're just
Yeah.
boys. They're just
Yeah.
boys and bigger boys, so you get to war boss and warlords.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they're
exactly.
just not mucking about, and they're just about growing in size. And it's all about muscle and brawn. That's what Goths are.
And head smashing.
Which is the best! Why would you want anything
You need to go and do
else?
some push-ups at the gym, I think.
Hey, man.
You're not quite fit in the Goth.
I don't want to look like a bag of grapes, alright? I'm good. Like...
He says, totally wishing he looked like a bag of grapes so he could be a Goth.
Oh, yeah.
I may paint my skin green, but that's about the extent of it, alright?
So let's talk about Evil Sunz. Evil Sunz like a two things most. Going fast and crumping stuff. That's why we so good at it. And that's by Lugnut of the Bladed Wheels.
So, the wheels are literally made of swords or something.
No, of course. But not like a uniform sword. It's just an assortment of blades.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like some are curved, some are
How do you
bent.
move?
It goes fast. That's all that matters.
It cuts through the earth, and because the wheels are
It
bladed.
goes real fast.
Real fast.
The Evil Sunz really only care about that, and that's going fast.
Yeah.
They don't-
Having said that, they do also enjoy crumping things.
Right, which is
Can you please
or-
describe
Smashing.
crumping?
It's a type of dance move where you crump. It's kind of like you pop your hips out.
Right, so Evil Sunz are
There's
like
a lot
techno
of
orcs.
Yeah, there's a lot of spine dislocation involved in this
Right.
movement.
So I've seen
Spine
Techno
dislocation?
Vikings is like Techno Orcs, a similar thing. Like they're just weird raving orcs on speedwagons.
Yes.
It's crumpin, not crumping,
Crumpin'.
guys.
Ah.
It's very different.
Smashing. So if you can go really fast and then hit something, that's the dream. you
That's
know?
the Evil Sunz.
Yeah, if you're going fast, that's a good life.
It's
but
good.
if you hit something at the end, woo-hoo-hoo.
This is pretty much like the penultimate.
Yeah. The Evil Sunz also tend to be a part of the cult of speed. And we'll go into a little bit more about the cult of speed later in the episode.
Eric's face right now.
No, they just don't make any sense.
Does he
Yeah,
digest
we'll
the cold
give our
speed?
32 grievances about the cult of speed. But
By
yeah,
necessity, there are a lot of mech boys in the Evil Sunz.
Makes sense.
It's just you need it. If
Machines.
If you want to go fast and you want to be on these vehicles, you got to have the boys that are gonna fix your bikes.
Yeah, because orcs are not natural sprinters.
No.
You cannot go fast enough just running.
I mean, they kind of are. Like it says, like if they don't have enough teeth to own their own vehicle, or they can't hitch a ride with someone who has their own vehicle, then they will in fact just sprint. And
Yes, they
that is
will.
the
They
only
will.
high they can get to going fast. Yeah.
But ultimately
They just start
do
duct
want
taping like wings to themselves.
No. I just had an idea. Imagine a whole orc army on rollerblades. They were just skating to their enemies.
It's like a roller derby.
It's like a roller derby, man. With the techno orc roller derby. Yes.
But yeah, that's disturbing. That's a
A
disturbing
little
image.
bit. I mean, disturbing or great, we can go either way there.
But yeah, but everyone having said that, even if they're running across the field, which there are ones that do that, they all want their own vehicle.
Of course,
eventually.
it's the goal is
Yeah.
to have your own vehicle.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about this is like you're right. If you don't have your teeth, you don't have enough teeth to like get your own, like, and you can't like beg from your other orc to let you in, you might just steal one from him. Anyways, if he's not gonna let you in, you're just gonna
Whoa.
take it from him.
Whoa.
That's
It's not stealing, it's looting.
It's looting. Sorry.
There's
Sorry.
loot lying around. You pick it up and you
Appropriating.
Yeah, appropriate.
liberating.
Personal possessions is a really open and wide term, okay? Like, to personally possess something, it's like, well, is it really yours? If it's
Wait,
just in a central location, yeah.
You just gotta wait till we talk about the Deathskulls, and then we'll really learn about personal possession.
Spoilers. All right.
So the Evil Sunz, they will try and put anything and everything they can on their vehicle if they think it makes it go faster.
Yeah.
You'll find like trucks with jet engines
Yeah.
on them, or like small little bikes with like plane wings attached to them,
Yeah.
because they're like, this makes it go fast.
Yeah.
It adds to it. And that's like another reason why they need the mech boys, is because they're constantly making changes and adding things to their bikes, which are probably also falling apart all the time as well.
They're not known for their craftsmanship.
No, not anything that lasts.
So you're an orc, right? And you want to build a new car that is the fastest car in the galaxy, right?
Yeah.
So off the top of your head, what are the fastest things in the galaxy you could put wheels on?
I get a psyker human that's capable of teleporting, and I shove some wheels on him and say, "Let's go."
You don't get that to feel the speed of that though. Like you teleporting,
That's
you don't
true. That's
So-
very true.
So-
it's not about getting somewhere fast. It's about feeling fast.
You want to feel those G's. And having said that, having being in this context, being an orc, right? I'm gonna loot an Imperial starship, put it on a planet,
I think that's reasonable.
put tires on
Paint it red.
paint it red,
Yes.
and launch this 12-kilometer Imperial starship's engines across a desert world.
Like across a desert plain.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You gotta wonder,
because
like-
that's going to be the biggest engine.
That's
so
probably the
therefore,
biggest engine,
I
yeah.
can go the fastest.
It's true. Anything that's can do intergalactic travel and can move at that speed
Yeah.
across the planet's surface.
Exactly.
That's probably where you're
Yeah.
at.
What are, you know, like the Green Goblin-esque models? That's the Hellions, right?
Spider-Man?
Yeah.
The Hellions. I'd take one of those and put
No,
wheels.
Green Goblin, not Spider-Man.
I'd take one of those and put wheels on it.
That could go fast.
That could probably go pretty fast. But could you just imagine, like, if it starts flying and other, like, Evil Sunz just start grabbing onto the bottom because they see it going fast and they want to go on?
Yeah.
That'd be a funny model to do. Like, one on top trying to, like, hit all the other ones off, and all the other ones just streaming behind it, some falling off.
I mean, this is what's great about Orks, right? Like, you can take any model and just put wheels on it. Or, like, one of the best, like, conversions I saw was, like, someone wanted a death copter really badly, an emergency death copter for a tournament or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So they got one of the old small, like, war trucks and just put a propeller on the top of it. So now it just flies. So it's just a car with a propeller on top of it, like a helicopter
Nice.
propeller.
That's
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Ork as
Ork.
fuck, right? It's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of them. Like, that's their flavor. They all want to have a vehicle and they all want to go fast. Their glyph for the Evil Sunz it's a symbol of a red sunburst with a grimacing face, and it often has like orange or yellow flames. Like, it's orange and yellow is kind of their color. Nodding.
Red goes.
Yeah.
Eric, it's podcast. Don't nod. You have to verbally...
Oh, sorry. Yes, Mark. Good job.
Yes. I like podcasts because I get verbally validated, something I never was given as a child.
Normally, I just try and avoid it. So also their vehicles are normally painted red, and this kind of is a throwback to the old
Different
thing.
colors have different meanings.
Yeah, so they are like back in the day. It was like if you were red, you go way faster. So, but it's kind of now just been like the Evil Sunz color is just red.
Yeah.
So, is it true in previous editions, like the rule of red ones go faster?
Yeah.
Is it true in previous editions? Has there ever been a rule where if you painted a vehicle red, it literally got more movement?
I don't know if you actually physically had to paint it red,
So,
but there was a rule.
there was a
called
rule,
red ones
yeah.
go faster, where
Right.
it actually did have an effect.
But you didn't
Like,
have
you
to
got-
WYSIWYG it. Like it didn't have to be red for that rule to take
Is that
effect.
true?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because that's just like I would assume like
But it
at
would've
some
been
point
way cooler if
in
that
one
was-
edition, like they would have gone like, hey, if you painted your vehicle red, it actually gets 1 extra inch. Like a movement.
You still would have had to pay points as an upgrade.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
The reason they
Okay.
would never do that is
Why?
because it would remove people's flavor from an army.
Because everyone would have to paint it
customization.
red.
Yeah.
I mean, like, but
Yeah.
why wouldn't you paint
Like
it?
personally,
it's honestly a good question. Like,
yeah.
But so here's the question: like, when you do your vehicles,
Are you
if
gonna paint
ever
them red?
Yeah, like even though your colors are not red,
I would have to.
well, good man.
Because it feels
Well,
great. Because it's so embedded into the orc like lore at this point. It
Yeah.
would be silly to not have a red
yeah,
vehicle.
yeah, and ultimately, like,
Yeah.
why would you not have?
So
that?
at this point, like, why not? I thought at some edition somewhere along the line they might have rewarded that.
No, I
Because
don't
it's so
think it was
ingrained.
ever officially.
No,
like,
it wasn't. Okay, fair.
No, I don't think it actually came. But there was a rule. You paid points for it. You did get a move fast.
Thank you, Lawhammer Professor. I appreciate your knowledge and education.
Well, you know, been here since 3rd edition.
Jesus Christ.
Alone in this room since 3rd.
How long have you been playing this game?
I've never actually played the game.
And how many orc armies you collected?
One.
Sounds like
That's one too many.
you've wasted the last 10 years of your life. or
No.
how long it's been.
Just wait, Dylan. So my plan, right? I've always been an orc player. I'm building all these other armies and painting all these other armies to fucking loot them.
One day you
just gonna rip apart your pieces and just smush them on
Exactly.
orc
You
stuff.
But they have to be painted because I'm all about realism and accuracy, right?
Of course. You rip off every single head of the model and replace it with an orc.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of goes over Evil Sunz.
Yeah.
more or less.
Let's talk about
Evil Sunz go fast.
Let's talk about the next one, the Blood Axes. Mark?
Us blood axes have learned a lot of from the humans. I can't see my phone. How best to kill them, for example. And that's from Corporal Snakebites of the Dreadblade Commandos. So I guess the only thing to learn from a human is how to kill them.
Right, of course, but also a lot of other things. Blood axes actually aren't really trusted by other orcs.
Why
and
not,
primarily because of their...
Why not?
Primarily
Tell us why.
because of their really unorky behavior.
What? How
So-
can an orc be unorky?
Like an orc, it has genetics built into it to be orky, to be specifically orky.
That would
It's
make
just
So
sense.
how
how
could you
other-
be unorky?
It's how the majority of other orcs see you.
Sounds like some political bullshit to me. Why don't you go on? Eric?
Okay.
What kind of things that they
They're
do that is
just orc
unorky?
nonconformists.
They
what
are,
it is.
but that definitely makes you unorky to the majority of orcs.
Yeah.
Right? So blood axes, a couple of things that blood axes actually do, like we would look at, and we would say like, wow, like these are really good qualities. In fact, like these are only things that are going to be good
And beneficial.
for orcs. And beneficial, yes. And these other orcs see them and be like, these idiots. These are unorky people. And so the things that the blood axes do, they have been known to trade with humans.
And I imagine any other race.
Yeah, of course.
I don't think it has to be exclusively humans.
Doesn't
but
have
they
to
are
be.
known to trade with non-orcs.
Yep. They have a higher understanding of tactics, which, like any orc, can use the tactic of you hit really hard that way and I'll hit really hard that way. That's not too bad.
No.
But what makes these orcs really different is that they understand retreat as a viable option. Whereas, like, there will never ever be a Goff in the history of Goffs that says, "Hey, let's leave." Because we're losing this battle, so we can go strike somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, no Goff will ever say that.
Yeah, and they're not Goffs are not doing fate tactics where they might. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, they're not like if a Goff doesn't know how to feint.
Yeah,
they're
it's
literally
going
just
in,
yeah,
and it's
exactly.
doing work.
It's just inserting itself.
Yeah, but these guys might actually do a feint, then retreat and strike somewhere else.
Right, and let something else, or and let another thing come distract them.
So
Like,
it's interesting because, like, does this show some form of higher level of orcish intelligence, or maybe their intelligence is just applied to like a strategic like context? Like, for example, you might have like, what was it, the Evil Sunz, like they go fast. Maybe they have a higher understanding of like how machines work, and that's where the intelligent plays. For the Blood Axes, it's like, hey, we're smart about fighting tactically. Like, do you think that that is obviously puts them above other orcs in terms of combat? Do you think like they are smarter in a certain way?
I mean,
You would have to be. Wouldn't you? Would you have to be?
Not necessarily.
we-
Does that make the mech boys like smarter because they understand like how machines work?
Well, there's different types of smart, right?
Right, but so then
I know
Yeah.
people who are smart that don't know anything about electricity, right?
Yeah,
but they're
fine.
really smart in other things. So it's just different, different areas of smartness.
I just don't
but-
think you can quantify
like-
orc intelligence.
well, I guess
valid.
intelligence is not the
Right,
word,
like,
it's
just-
orc intelligence.
I guess it's a matter of
Yeah, for real.
I guess it's a matter of perspective.
but like,
Q.
but like, if you compare these guys
Yeah,
to
yeah.
like Goff,
Orc
you could
quotient.
definitely measure intelligence that way.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that in a fight a blood axe would win because a Goff
Oh, no,
is
no, no.
way tougher.
That's
and
yeah,
bigger,
no, I'm not
right?
saying that.
So
their intelligence doesn't serve
So
them in that
you said,
context.
so
Yeah,
you
yeah.
said that like, hey, does this make them like better on the battlefield? No,
No,
not
not
necessarily.
Not necessarily.
So it
They
just
yeah.
they just fulfill a different role.
They look at it differently. They have a different mindset.
But that like it could even be that like there's a battle that what it needs is a really heavy blow to the middle that a Goff would be like, that's what I'm gonna do. And the blood axes would be like, no, we got to do a feint, but that's the wrong call.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's interesting, like someone that would be attracted to this clan, like like we said before, like someone who finds themselves in a clan is because they get some kind of like this or higher for like doing this particular thing and sharing that with other orcs that also share that. So for these guys, it's like, hey, we attempted this strategy and that actually worked and it felt good.
Yeah, like
So
just
these
imagine
orcs-
that high
yeah.
when you trick somebody, some poor child,
Yeah,
of stealing
it's
candy
cunning,
from
right?
a baby.
It's
yeah.
it's
But
deceptive.
it's not
cunning,
only
yeah.
that, it's also like preciseness and order that
Yeah.
these guys value. Like they value like strict drills and having like a very
Yeah, that's interesting. Go
orderly
into that,
and
go into that.
disciplined camp.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so these guys favor I guess I'll come back to that point later. Like when you're a youth, which is just a really young orc, like
Spell youth.
it's YOOF.
That's not
The
how you
best
spell
was
youth.
in the garage, me and Eric, or at Eric's house, me and Eric were talking, and he's like, Mark, what's a youth? And then as soon as he said like youth out loud, because he was reading it and he didn't connect what it was.
It's all phonetic spelling. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, so I said it out loud and I was like,
You could see like in his eyes, like
now it makes sense. to me.
a youth, Eric.
Yeah. So when like you're a youth, you have like a high propensity for actually being a storm boy. And a storm boy, correct me if I'm wrong, they have a big rocket on their back.
yeah, they literally strap a rocket to their back.
It's the orc equivalent of a jump pack.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
But the reason that these guys are drawn to being a storm boy is that these guys conduct very precise military drills, which consists of saluting each other and polishing boots.
What the fuck? That's the most un-orcish thing.
It is
I-
very,
and that's one of the
very
reasons why
un-orcish.
other orcs don't like them, right?
Right, because it's like, how weird is it to polish your boots or to like march in file and salute each other?
I mean, can you call them orcs anymore?
So that's and then a lot of because most of these like are youths,
Humans!
a lot of
Humans!
a lot of these orcs will actually leave the storm boys to find other things because it's very unorky to do it.
Yeah.
But it's also really common to like if you're leading a storm boy squadron, like you are a blood axe.
Yeah.
At that point, because you prefer this order and discipline,
Yeah.
as opposed to like running a
Just
boy.
chaos, yeah.
Another thing that blood axes are known to do is be commandos.
Yeah, because one of the things that other orcs hate about them is they consistently use camouflage as a way to make sure they survive to get into a fight, where they might not be the biggest and strongest. They've come up with other ways to, camouflage themselves to get into combat.
Which is an entire another use of tactical advantage that they
Exactly.
have available to them.
But lots of people think or lots of orcs think that's like cowardice. Like you want to bang your chest and make sure you're
and you want to
known.
paint your armor pink, and I
And
don't understand
teal
why an
and-
orc wouldn't do that. So these guys are just I don't understand how these could be considered orcs. I mean, I guess I'll take your word for it, but
But yeah, like so they love storm boys and they love commandos because commandos they use camouflage and they use stealth tactics and espionage. They might actually like sneak into the enemy base and plant a bunch of bombs.
No,
while
for sure.
fucking giggling.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
like that whole
and, like,
aesthetic, the
they're-
whole
they're
idea.
fucking- that's that high that they're getting,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
knowing that they're sneaking around and
Yeah.
doing these like
The
and
tricksters.
And then we're gonna yell, and they're all gonna come out and trip all the booby traps and like
Yeah.
that's a very like blood axe thing to do
Yeah.
is to use like subversive tactics.
And that's a very comedic for an orc to be. Like,
Yeah.
the sneaky orc is so funny. Like, to
Yeah.
think about, like, what kind of scenario or role that orc could, like, perform in
Yeah.
the battlefield. Like,
There have been a lot of good like conversion models of sneaky orcs. Like I think I've talked about this one before, but it's a land raider that has been corded into 8 different
yeah,
pieces,
yeah.
and each orc is carrying a different section. So one's holding
Correct.
the top right corner.
that one's
and,
so good.
yeah, and together they make a rhino. So
it's like a transformer model. Once
Yeah,
it's all
yeah.
together, it looks like a rhino.
Yeah.
But then when you break it up into individual pieces, it's actually all different orcs
Yeah.
holding a piece of the rhino.
I've got to say, like the majority of my top like model kit bashes and conversions that I've ever seen is orc stuff. Like,
Oh, for sure.
I love
Yeah,
seeing
yeah.
like orcs that have like looted Tau stuff and
Yeah.
orcs that have looted Necron stuff.
Have you seen
right?
the
Like-
looted carnifexes?
Yeah.
Where they're right
Yes.
at the back of a carnifex? Yeah.
Oh, like orcs just have the best flavor.
That's what
to
makes them
like
the best.
the most fun flavor
Correct,
to
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
But it's not it's not necessarily a serious flavor.
But also from,
like it's hard to do Dark Angels as a serious, like as a fun army.
Yeah.
Like they're all serious, because
Yeah.
orcs can fit both.
Correct.
one other really cool model was for the camouflage was It was literally an orc holding like a cardboard cutout of a space marine, and just holding it in front of him.
It's pretty great.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's a bunch.
It's because what the best thing about orcs is like if you're interested in the hobby more than anything as opposed to playing, right? That gives you the most creativity as a race because you can literally do anything, and it's dumb and silly, and it kind of makes sense. It makes sense enough, and that's what gives the most flexibility.
Like me and you have been hanging out all day today, and you've been kit bashing some. What do you call them?
A big mech. A mech gun. A mech gun. Yeah, I'm making a custom.
And you're literally you dug in my bits bin and you pulled out a pile of things and then you smashed together a bunch of awesome looking.
Yeah, correct. No, so can I just say,
cannons.
like, Mark's Warhammer collection is very impressive. He's obviously been playing this game for a very long time. So he has a bits bin that's the size of like a fucking table, right? So you can dig your hands into it for
like
a full
think of
foot
like when you were a child and you had that big bucket
of Lego.
Yeah, it's like Lego. It's the same feeling you get when you're building Lego, and the world's your oyster. There's so many bits in there, it's ridiculous. So I'm all like, hey, GW took a year and a half to release my codex. Maybe I won't give them money. Maybe I'll just build my own units. So I'm like, I want some custom
Honestly,
mega cannons.
as an orc, you could probably build a lot of vehicles out of that.
That's why I came to Canada. Yes, I could build my own shit. And that's what I did all day. I made a mech gun that was entirely comprised of like rhino bits and like some the cannons on it. I believe of some from some of your knights. And some other orky bits here and there.
Are the walls made of some tau?
Yeah. Two of the two wall tower panels that are like straight lined and even. That I've got to, obviously when I paint it, I'm gonna have to make it more orky. But it's brilliant. Yeah,
and even if you just battle damage, it'll
correct. And and that's orc. Like orc, you can just do whatever the fuck you want, and that's what makes them so brilliant.
So the Blood Axe's glyph consists of 2 cross choppas, which are axes for the
uninitiated.
For the uninitiated. And it's a skull, either in the front or behind them. So it's kind of like just 2 cross axes. And
it's like a crossbones, but like instead of bones, it's 2 big choppas.
Yeah. And you better believe that orc skull is pretty fucking orky. Like big jaw and like jagged teeth and like
the horns.
The orc glyph.
Yeah.
So Dylan just walked out. Just when we are going to talk about looting things.
Yeah, no kidding.
He's the master of looting. Maybe he should have been a Deathskulls instead of a Goff.
Well, let's talk about Deathskulls. Jordan, would you like to say the quote?
I'll try. What is this? No, I've had this for ages. Of course, the paint's still wet. It's me favorite. Sell it to you if you like. One careful owner.
So I really like this quote. And Jordan, I'm sorry. I'm really disappointed in how you said that right now.
How is it supposed to be said?
So the thing is like, the way it's set up is like, I've got this item, whatever it is, and Mark comes along and asks me like, oh man, like, what's that?
Hey, that's mine, isn't it?
What, this? Nah, I've had this for ages. Of course the paint's still wet. It's me favorite. Sell it to you if you like.
Well, you could have just done it yourself. And we wouldn't have
Jordan. I should have done it myself. But I really like it because it's just this orc be like, nah, this is mine.
I've always had this.
Of course the paint's so wet. I paint it every other day. But just
no, he stole it.
This is from Fingers Rutzig. Fingers is his nickname.
He's very grabby and steals things.
And he is a Deathskull looter.
Yeah.
So these guys, all they enjoy is looting and stealing.
So they're thieves.
Of course.
No.
Isn't every orc?
Looters.
Well, they're looters.
Oh, I see.
But also they steal.
Stealing.
Looters that steal, right.
They liberate.
I think there's a word for that.
Deathskulls.
Deathskulls.
They're very superstitious and will make a point to collect something that they find lucky or they'll hold on to charm. So like
maybe they collect little like shiny pieces that are like a very specific size, and so they see one on someone and they're like, I gotta have that.
I gotta have it. And it has no value.
No, 0.
But to that orc, it holds some superstitious meaning, and it might actually turn out to save his life one day. Like
you never know.
It might be that whole somebody puts a coin in your pocket and you get shot and that coin deflects the bullet.
Well, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
But
Or even like orcs could imagine that a particular thing might save their life or make them better when it in fact has no business doing that, and they just believe that, so they value these items highly, and they might see another orc value an inanimate object highly, and they want it just as much because that orc wants it. You know,
even though it has no value.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, it only has as much value as the orcs put into it. Yeah.
But hey, you know what? They love looting.
They love looting.
They love looting. Deathskulls seems to find more enjoyment from looting a battlefield than actually fighting. Fighting is just a means to the ends of what they want.
Yeah, it's even sometimes described that they rush the fighting, like they don't enjoy it as much as other orcs.
Yeah, like
just so they can
toy with their opponent, you know, like
or like seek out like other people that they want to continue fighting. But a Deathskull doesn't like. I mean, it's not that they don't fight and they don't like fighting. It's just they have more important things to do, like looting.
Yeah.
They'll often take trophies of their victims, such as scalps or skulls.
That's really
because they're lucky.
I gotta wonder if it's like this guy collects like Tau skulls.
Oh yeah,
right? Like he'll only collect Tau skulls because that's like his thing.
That's what he likes looting.
Yeah, they have some particular meaning to him. Yeah,
right. Of course, and he's like the Tau skull is what like.
That's horrifically violent. Like, why would I don't understand why they would be so aggressive like that. Like, why would you take someone's head that's so egregious?
Well, they're dead. They don't need it anymore.
Oh, fair enough.
What are they going to do with it?
Yeah. Their favorite weapon is like a custom combi shooter, like any type of like. Oh, look at that Tau gun! Smash it onto an orc gun. Now they got
and like duct tape it.
Yeah,
like literal tape.
Yeah. That's
and
what you do. Yeah,
now they got a custom shooter.
You pick your two favorite guns, and they're better if they're stuck together, and that's what you fire simultaneously.
And hopefully they put the guns facing the right direction.
Have you seen Alien 2?
No.
Literally, you haven't seen Alien 2?
Never seen any of them.
Never bothered.
Like aliens?
Aliens, correct.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Ripley at the end, duct takes the machine gun to the flamer, and she will skulk through like the hallways of like the final at the end of the movie. She's being incredibly orcish there. It does the same thing.
Yeah. And this tribe is prostitutionally made up of looters, predominantly made up of looters, and they'll loot vehicles as much as corpse. They'll fucking loot anything.
Yeah, they don't like.
They'll loot anything.
We made it sound like they only looted like people or things, but the reality is like anything on the battlefield that they think has value, whether it's like a crashed plane or whatever.
It might not even be something that they just fought. They might be like, oh, I really like that patch of dirt over there. That's gonna go great in my looted collection.
And he just shoves it in his gun.
Yeah. But there's guys there, so you have to kill the guys over there, so you can get that fucking soil collection.
So like, what's happening? Every single like Deathskull, are they just like have hordes of shit? Like, are they just sitting on mountains of stuff that
it could be, but it also could be like as soon as something grabs their attention, they forget about something else.
That could be, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they found this really shiny piece, and they're like, ooh, this one's shiny, and they flick off the other piece of their armor that was shiny and stick that one on there.
Or it's been stolen by other Deathskulls.
Or it's been stolen by someone.
Not stolen, looted.
Have to find new stuff to loot. Yeah.
If you didn't value enough to hold on to it and keep it from being looted, you didn't deserve it.
You didn't value it enough.
Exactly.
It's valid.
It's true. Their glyph is a horned skull,
horny.
and it's always added onto anything that they've looted. So this is what they actually do to show ownership. And they'll actually like stamp like colors and like certain patterns onto it to kind of like show ownership as well.
Yeah.
But like these guys are like I took that gun, boom, here's my glyph, here's my color stamp. This is mine now.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what's funny about that quote we said with fingers, because it had a fresh coat of paint on it, because he just painted on his own thing to cover up someone else's glyph on it.
Which is great.
Speaking of that blue paint, they love to paint themselves blue because, as we mentioned, they're like highly superstitious. And blue is known to be a lucky color.
Have we talked about the colors and how they're represented in Orks?
I think we
talked about
did,
that
but it
Yeah,
hasn't
okay,
been
okay,
since
okay.
like episode 3.
Oh, sure.
But different colors have different meanings, and blue
Correct.
means lucky.
Correct.
Just like
But
red means go
they will
faster.
even like paint themselves
Yes.
this color, whereas
Yeah.
most orcs won't paint themselves
Yeah,
a
yeah,
specific
like
color.
so. And by themselves, they mean physically paint over their green skin.
yeah.
Paint them blue.
Yeah.
Not
Which
like
is-
their armor or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably blue too, but
Yes,
they'll paint
yes.
their skin
Yeah.
blue.
And you know what? They probably looted the paint to paint themselves to begin with. It's
I
like,
don't know
hey,
how to make paint.
that's my gun. You looted that. No, man, it's freshly painted. You looted the paint from me too to paint that. What the fuck? That's
my paint.
And then they fight.
I feel like that's Christian would be one of these guys. He's always
the
fucking
Deathskull.
looting my shit.
He's a thieving
I was on
scoundrel.
vacation And he's like, yeah, I checked your fridge. It was empty. It's like, what the fuck are you doing in my fridge?
He's looting.
He's looting my
Clearly.
fridge.
Looting your shit.
That's pretty good.
Good thing you didn't loot your identity, Mark, while you were gone.
That would have been just
could have
depressing
been
for
you.
him.
Is
Bam,
it-
that's a
is
lot
it-
of Warhammer debt.
It's an upgrade. It's a downgrade.
Yeah, that's kind of the
Deathskulls.
They love looting
They
and
love
painting
it.
things blue. I
Loot
guess.
more. Blue and looting.
Next we're talking about the bad moons.
Bad moons.
Go ahead, Marcus.
No, Jordan. Jordan has
No.
You missed.
No, he went
We've
last
gone
time.
through this already.
Eric gave him shit.
I didn't like it.
Yeah, fucked up.
You're rich, you're flashy, and you've got a proper orky stoutness about your belly. And you got more big, shooty, and dead hard gear than any two other orcs put together. The other clans ought to make our way for the bad moons.
That's great.
This actually isn't quoted by any orc, but it's just supposed to be a bad moon orc that says this.
I'm sure
So
everyone has said this at one point in their life.
Right,
I would
of
say
course.
so. Yeah.
Probably he's trying to rile up a group of bad moon orcs.
Your wedding vows weren't
To go
too
do
far
something.
from this, right?
No,
Okay,
no.
I didn't think so. Yeah, cool.
You're rich, you're flashy.
You've got a good stoutness about your belly.
Why say that word?
The bad moons are the richest clan
Money,
because their teeth grow the fastest.
Cash money.
what do teeth have to do with anything?
Well, teeth is actually the currency
That's our currency, yeah.
of the orcs.
Yeah.
What?
And some teeth are valued higher than others. Like human teeth, they're worth nothing.
Yeah.
Like you get like a big Carnifex tooth.
Yeah.
That's worth a lot of money.
So other races' teeth
darker the
are
berry, the sweeter the
currency
juice.
also.
Yes.
Not just orcish teeth.
No, but it's just orcish teeth are like that's the most common because you just knock your own
Because
teeth
you're around
out.
orcs, yeah.
Right.
And yeah, like you would
And
really.
their teeth grow back, right?
Yeah, so you can just rip them out like when it's the right
So it's
size.
not, yeah, you're not really. It's not much of a cost.
No,
If you're willing to endure
you're
the
like,
pain.
I really want that drink, and
Yeah.
they're like, us one big tooth, and you feel it around in your mouth, and you're like, I've got a big tooth. So you rip it out and you hand it over.
So do you think the Deathskulls who like to loot shit, like do you think they like take a skull, for example, and then like just knock out all the teeth and then keep the skull?
I
as a trophy?
imagine that a Deathskull will go around to sleeping orcs and try and loot the teeth out of their mouth.
if they didn't value it enough to keep
To
it
protect
in their
it?
mouth.
But as trophies, not as currency. That's
Yeah.
the difference.
Maybe.
Right? Bad moons are all like, now we just want
Maybe.
fucking money, bitches.
Yeah. Having you guys did say like they will take other teeth for currency. It has to be spectacular. Like orc are
Sure.
huge. Their teeth are already
Correct.
huge. So like I don't think they're looting human teeth ever.
They did mention that human teeth are worth almost nothing.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
okay.
Like maybe Grot are looting human teeth.
Yeah,
you know?
that's how they break it down, right? Like
Yeah.
Grot are like rich in human teeth. Maybe.
Exactly,
Well, if you
right?
think of all the major races of the galaxy, who has the biggest? Does anyone have bigger teeth than orcs?
No, I don't. Well,
Like,
Of course,
the thing
there's
is-
massive aliens
yeah,
here.
that's the
Tyranids,
thing. Like
on average,
Yeah.
Tyranids might because they are like big monstrous creatures. Eldari, no. Humans, no. Like
No,
there's
you
probably
got- you
not
gotta go,
many.
like,
there's
real
probably not
alien
many
races.
like sentient
yeah.
things.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
There's
Oh,
probably
yeah.
tons of
Like a massive
fauna and
wildlife.
Tau
yeah.
definitely not. Like
No, Tau have hoofs.
Do they even have teeth? They just have
Yeah.
gums.
What's a space marine tooth look like? Does that have value? Just because it's a space marine tooth, it kind of has like
Maybe.
truthy value. Compared
I don't know. I'm not an orc.
Does space marine have teeth? Is that-
Yes.
That's
I don't
true.
know. Has Games Workshop ever clarified that?
They only have helmets. There's no head under the helmet. Ah! They
Yeah.
got big
They can-
shining grins.
Can't they bite through metal or something?
Space Marines?
Yeah.
Oh sure.
Are they on a
Can't
dental
do?
plan through the Imperium?
But then how could they bite if they didn't have teeth?
Gums. Their
No.
bones are made of metal.
No, they aren't.
Really?
Anyways,
Anyway,
there's two potential theories of this whole teeth currency thing, and so this is like, I don't know, it's like lore that runt herds pass between each other. I guess the stories they tell each other in the night.
they're the storytellers of all time. Yeah.
The one is that when teeth was declared as the
Currency.
currency, the bad moons like forced their teeth to grow faster
Yeah.
because they were like, we want to be rich. So they just kept ripping out teeth until their teeth just grew in really fast, and then they were rich.
That's how
Yeah.
teeth work, right?
Well, if you're an orc or a shark.
Oh shit! Yeah. Oh, okay, good.
And then the other theory is that bad moons already had really fast growing teeth, so they created that as the currency.
As an advantage to themselves.
Right, of course.
Yeah,
So-
And the other orcs like makes sense.
Yeah, like, okay.
Yeah.
teeth. We all got teeth. We all got money. Oh, we're fucking good. Let's fucking keep going. Like
Yeah.
that's basically what it is. Which seems interesting.
They also love gold more than any other metal and will plate their vehicles and armors with it. Now, to us, gold has value.
Yeah.
Correct.
This is very important. But to orcs, like, a Goff doesn't give a shit about gold.
No.
Yeah,
No,
they don't
the
care about
Deathskull
like the
doesn't.
useful properties of it.
Right, of
they
course.
use gold for literally the worst thing you can use gold for, and that's protection.
Right. But like these guys, they will like it just makes so much sense. Like these will trade, like they'll act as like a merchant class
Yeah.
for orc society.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that means they're like familiar with like the idea of trade.
Yeah.
And they love gold, and the other orcs don't love gold, so they're making a killing.
Yeah.
Well,
is
to
what
them,
it goes down
if
to.
if other orcs don't value gold, then how much is that gold worth? It's only worth something.
Nothing, and they're like, I'll give you
Exactly. That's why I'll give you one
Yeah,
tooth
yeah.
for a
all
bunch
that,
of
yeah.
gold.
So for them,
they're
they
coming
value
out
it.
like bandits.
So they'll
Yeah.
take it because they have all the teeth in the world. So
Yeah.
they'll trade it for all the gold in the world, and then that makes them happy.
Yeah.
Whereas any other orc would come across a bunch of gold and go, "Well, this is useless."
Yeah.
But I'll like have some.
But I'll keep it because I know
Yeah.
the bad moons want it, and I'll get a lot of
Sure.
teeth for it.
Yeah, sure.
Right. They'll even plate their vehicle and armors with it, even though it makes no sense because gold is literally like the softest metal. out
Soft
there.
and palatable, and it's like not even decent. Yeah.
And so even though they are the merchant-like people within the orcs, they're still not afraid to fight.
Yeah.
Obviously, every orc loves a good fight.
Yeah,
orcs will not.
exactly. But these guys just love doing that swindling trade. You know, there's people. I think Jordan at one point was like a Kijiji salesman where he'd buy shitty things on Kijiji and flip it for $20. And
I've only
just-
done that a couple times.
Oh yeah, okay.
So it was like
Sure.
last week.
No,
right?
hold on. So for those back in Australia, Kijiji is like Gumtree. It's like a buy swap swell online. So
Yeah.
And Jordan
Well-
he got the throbbing.
Yeah, he was always telling us about the
Erections of
latest
the
thing
deal.
he bought.
and sold and traded.
I do not
It was
remember
comic
that.
books at
distinctly
one
remember
point.
many conversations.
Oh,
about
shut the
it.
hell
was
up. Bullshit.
Are you selling your teeth online, Jordan?
do you even have a job?
This happened
or is
like
that-
2 times.
I'll once again say this, Lorehammer fans, who are you going to trust? Jordan,
Oh, shut the
Eric,
fuck up.
or me?
Makes sense.
It's going to be Christian.
Christian's not here. We can talk about him.
He who shall not be named.
So they do have a bigger, greater population of Gretchen slaves to do their evil bidding.
Well, they can pay them more.
yeah, exactly.
Makes sense.
And I'm assuming they wouldn't be as violent, maybe. So maybe Gretchen like working for them better, like because what's the worst?
Lifespan of a Gretchen isn't that great.
Yeah, and it might just be ideal. I don't know. I can think of reasons why they might have a higher population.
But it's not ever
It's
said.
not.
Yeah.
that
I mean, they
can
just
find.
need people to carry stuff around for them.
Yeah.
They're too rich. So they don't want to carry like
Maybe-
they don't want to be seen as like a middle class.
Maybe because they have more wealth and more like I don't know, because they have more stuff. Essentially, they need more Gretchen to deal with that stuff.
Yeah.
Because they have more power, they have more
Yeah.
influence. Maybe they need like a larger hierarchy of beings to like help
Yeah.
structure their fucking like lives.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is interesting. You've written here to do their evil bidding. Are you implying that?
I don't know why.
Oh, that was
is
just
written.
me.
That's just every now and again you come across stuff like that where Eric got a little too flavorful with his words.
No,
I mean, are
have
you
you
implying
guys-
orcs are evil?
No, have you guys ever
Have you met Chaos? Do you understand what?
No, you ever seen the movie What We Do in the Shadows?
Yes,
Okay.
we've watched it together probably
of course,
twice.
I know. You know that moment where he like found out what eBay was, and he's on the internet. He's doing his evil bidding. That was how I imagined it. Is that these orcs were sending these grots to do their evil bidding?
Maybe one of the best movies of all time.
That's a good one.
In combat, these guys are armed with the best gear available and the thickest armor and the flashiest guns.
They're rich. They can
they're-
afford it.
Exactly.
So when you look at the models, it's like the Flash Gits. It's like they
Exactly.
have the biggest guns. They're like multiple chambered, like barreled weapons.
guns.
And they've got like multiple boss poles, and they're all like fully decorated.
Yeah.
And the captain has like a pirate hat. Like it's this whole aesthetic about them that's just gold chain. They're the Kanye West of fucking orcs. Like they're fucking great.
It's a decent comparison.
Their glyph is for the bad moons is a large, angry-looking moon with an orc's face and a mouth full of teeth.
Gotta show that teeth so they know how rich you are.
Yeah, and their favorite color is black and not surprisingly gold.
Yeah,
and
so they'll put both colors on.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any affiliation with the attack moons? Like, do you think there's any like link there whatsoever?
What's an attack moon?
Other than the name of moon?
No, I don't think there is.
Have you read what's it called?
Eric's never read a single 40k
Never read a
book.
single 40k book. In like the
Eric's never even listened to a 40k
32k,
book.
like all the
Eric's
attack moon.
never-
The one appeared on Terra. Like the orcs inhabit an entire moon, and they teleport them across the galaxy, and they put them above this atmosphere, and they all come from this moon, and like inhabit the planet.
Yeah,
and
probably
invade it.
not.
No, probably not. One would assume at this point, yeah.
Moons are moons, but balloons are not moons.
That's no
that is
moon.
apt.
Let's talk about the Snakebites.
All right, this is the very last clan. Very last
Oh,
clan.
No,
one
looks
note.
like there's one more.
No, it's not a clan.
Oh, okay.
One little thing we mentioned that they have a greater the Bad Moons had a greater population of Gretchen. Gretchen, Grots, Snotlings, they're not a part of the Ork clans. Just so people are aware.
Well, they're not. They
just in
don't
case-
deserve to be.
Yeah. Only orcs are in clans.
Correct.
Just so we didn't give that false impression.
Yeah, yeah.
You cannot have a Bad Moon orc or
Grot.
Sorry. Yeah.
They have their place in
Wait, you
orcs.
can't have a bad moon orc mark?
No, it does not exist. Can't exist. It's impossible.
Grots and Snotlings have their place in Orc society.
Yeah.
And they have their own, like, and they're happy with their place as long as they're not getting, like, they're happy to do their role and avoid getting beaten up.
Yeah.
But they are, like,
Or
they don't,
eaten.
they don't,
Yeah.
or eaten, yeah, they don't strive to be an Orc. They understand that Orcs are the bosses and they are the
Yeah.
inferior, yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Snakebites.
Best for last, obviously.
Somebody want to read this one?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Not me.
Live off the land. Go to fight war. Kill what comes close. The old ways are best.
Grod Snakebite Runt Herd.
And as that quote says, like, they prefer, like, the old ways. They prefer their traditions and, like, they like old... They're Mennonites. Amish people. They like the old ways, you know?
Don't give the impression
don't
that
really
they're
like-
pacifists, though.
The Hutterites.
The
Yeah.
Hutterites, yeah. They...
Do they make phenomenal bread?
Oh, yeah, no,
No,
they do.
I mean, if bread is a metaphor for squids,
Yeah. They prefer to shun technology and things like force fields and vehicles. Not really their thing.
They are Hutterites.
Yeah.
Okay.
honestly. Yeah, like,
Okay.
I'm not making a joke. Like,
It's like an actual
yeah.
analogy, I guess.
Yeah, like,
except,
the old ways
except
are
for the
best.
pacifists.
yeah.
There are some difference. They're also not humans.
What? Since when?
So why would they not embrace technology?
There's some things like Orky is just being fighting and having a good time doing Orky things, right? So they value just having a good time, growing food, getting to a bar fight
It's
every
less
night.
even having a good time, and it's more just that they think it's like, if anything, it's a crutch.
Yeah.
All of those things, like, if you need a vehicle to, like, run up to the enemy, like, you're not a good enough orc.
It's
Yeah.
it's about being like a raw, natural.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
being your fundamental roots
Yeah.
of just like nature, which is interesting because so many other clans are they're about technology or being the biggest or being like within like a science fiction environment, but these guys kind of like take away from that. These
Yeah.
guys are the closest to like Age of Sigmar orcs in a way.
Yeah,
like,
they would be.
like they're more
Yeah.
fantasy than anything.
Yeah.
Like. Which is super interesting. It's all spears and
Well, yeah, and like some of them choose to stay feral orcs, like,
that's interesting.
and like just stay on the planet,
By
stay
choice.
in the jungle, and just kind of do their thing in the jungle.
They're also really well-known farmers.
Yep. And by farmers, like, they're farming like squigs.
Yeah, I
and,
don't mean like wheat.
no.
I mean like they're farming like the fungus.
Yeah, exactly.
So
And
they're
raising
growing
new-
animals.
raising new orcs even up and like growing orcs and growing snotlings and whatever.
That's super interesting. I mean, like, whenever the Snakebites find some piece of technology, they're more likely to toss it to the Grots.
Yeah.
Like, they just gotta disregard it entirely because they don't need that shit, because they
Yeah.
can lead a simple life.
yeah.
Yeah.
And-
The funny image is like a tide of like snakebikes running across a field or like a battlefield, whatever, to get to the enemy, and like being trailed by like 50 grots or whatever with these massive guns and this big technology that like they would never get
Yeah.
if they were in any other place. But because these orcs don't care about it, they just toss it to the
Yeah,
grots.
they're not bothering looting things, so they'll let their grots do it.
Exactly.
So, do they have intergalactic capabilities? Do they have spaceships? Do they move between worlds? How do they do that?
I'd say they do.
Well, just like
I mean,
it's
like,
less.
yeah, but how do that?
It's less that they don't have it. They'll just use someone else's if they
Yeah.
have to. If the Wa is going that way, like why would the Snakebite ever leave? Like they want the fight, and like if you recognize the necessity that the fight is on the other planet,
Sure.
you're gonna go.
I mean, it's a weird dichotomy between the Snakebites. Like, how do you reconcile with
we're not talking about SJWs and the left and their mental gymnastics. You know, like they're orcs. They don't have to try to rationalize their nonsensical beliefs, right? They're just gonna do what they have to do.
I mean, but that is fundamentally opposed to like the nature.
I mean, you had to bring that
of-
up once.
of
Amber.
their being.
Oh yeah, I always have to say something that's gonna be controversial so we can get an email about it. And
we both get more listeners and lose them at the same time.
the type of people that will listen though will be a better quality of person.
I agree.
It's the diamonding. We're trying to pressurize our
Sift,
listeners
sift,
to a
sift the
perfect
wheat from the
time.
chaff.
Yeah, chaff.
Those diamond listeners. No, I mean that's interesting though, because like, how else do you like perform a war without technology? And these guys are fundamentally opposed to technology.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting conflict.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know enough about Snakebites to like.
The thing is too, like orcs will do things that they don't enjoy too. Like
I guess, yeah.
like they might. They're not going to
If
be.
it means like the means will meet. Wow, the means. Fuck, I can't.
you
talk.
drunk, mate.
Yeah. So basically, like
fucking right, Eric.
the Deathskulls, it's not that they don't like fighting; they like looting, and they know that they have to fight so they can loot. Right?
Sure.
It's like this too. They don't like the technology, but if it's gonna get them to another planet where they can get to a fight, or
And I guess
They can like farm more on like a
Farm
different
more,
planet.
yeah.
And like we said
They're
before, like the orcs affiliate with other orcs that are of different clans, and at that point, like
Yeah.
you're probably like not a single clan goes to war.
Yeah.
All the clans go to war.
exactly.
So like you're
the
gonna
Goffs
be
will
hanging
want
out,
the
yeah.
Snakebites around so
Yeah,
the Goffs
yeah.
can have good food,
Valid. So like
or
the
big mean monsters to ride.
the
or something.
Snakebites would get in a spaceship to get off and like jump back into the woods and do their thing, something like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is a weird thing, but there's no way they're just stuck on a planet.
Yeah, it's
Like,
interesting. Yeah, they can't. So that would mean that they're not completely opposed to technology on like the biggest fundamental reason.
Yeah.
It's just their preference.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we even know that, like, we were talking about how they give
Yeah.
Grots guns and stuff. It's not that they are like, no, don't use that technology. Like, they just aren't going to use it. So they'll
Yeah,
still,
valid. Yeah,
they'll
valid.
still use
Yeah.
that spaceship.
Yeah.
They're not going to be the ones who are maintaining it and piloting it.
That's a good point. Yes, as long as they're not the ones doing it, then
Yeah.
they're probably okay with it. And that's probably how they
So,
do it. Yeah,
yeah.
interesting. Super interesting. Yeah.
But also, having said that, lots of them do choose to just be feral orcs and
Yeah.
stay in the woods.
And that's a whole different thing.
that's a different beast entirely.
when they become animals. Yeah,
Yeah.
essentially. Yeah.
But yeah, the Snakebites are the best breeders, and they are known for raising the most vicious, loyal, and dangerous of all the Grots and Squigs. And like when we talk about Squigs, like you could almost do a Squig episode. Like Squigs are literally from that hair top knot to like these
A squig
giant,
off.
these giant 50-foot tall beasts with like tusks and like.
I think
Like-
the coolest thing about orcs at the end of the day, and if you've played the original Dawn of War, it's Squiggoths.
They're pretty
like
cool.
the gigantic rampaging Squiggoth, which is
Yeah.
just a mount for like 20 orcs
Yeah.
to hold onto as it charges through battle.
Yeah.
Like you could have an all-shooting army just on the back of a Squiggoth, and it
Yeah.
just charges into the enemy still, which is brilliant. Like
So cool.
they're some of the biggest monstrous creatures in the game, and they're so impressive. And it's weird, like they're a Forge World model. I wish they were more like mainstream in a sense. Like
Yeah, like I don't know if I've ever seen one in person.
in person, no.
Yeah,
and
but
it's-
I've seen plenty of
Yeah.
models of a similar value,
Sure.
like similar price tag.
And it's interesting Squigs, because Squigs come in such a variety of shapes and sizes. Like there's
Yeah.
even Squigs that you can ride.
Yeah,
like
there's some that are literally they have a big mouth
Yeah.
with no digestive tract in it, and you put stuff in it, and it's a pouch. Yeah,
It's like a kangaroo,
yeah, exactly. Like,
it's like a kangaroo,
but,
mate.
but
Oh,
like
it's the same fucking
instead
thing,
of,
eh?
right?
instead of like a nice
Right?
mouth or a nice pouch, it's literally you're shoving stuff in its mouth.
so funny.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
It's like an internal.
It's a wallet.
Yeah.
It's a flesh wallet.
yeah, exactly.
Prison wallet.
Yeah. We'll have to do a types of Squigs episode. And, like,
We do a Gruts and Squigs episode.
yeah, I think
like-
actually. Okay, I'm gonna have to remember that. That'll be our next orc one when we come back. I think.
No, it's fascinating though, and obviously like these Snakebites are gonna have the greatest affiliation with them because they're like, I don't know, they're like the hunters, the hippies of fucking orcs, right? They're all about
Yeah.
nature and being natural and like, and also being in tune with the animals to their advantage
Yeah.
and their orky advantage. Yeah.
And the main reason why they are called Snakebites, it comes back to that being hardy and being like in tune with nature, but being
Yeah.
like hard.
It's accurate. It's like
Yeah.
because they are like fundamentally just like a natural state of
yeah,
of being. Right? Like,
exactly. And one of the things they do is they literally take snakes, venomous snakes, and
Yeah.
they let the snake bite them, and it like proves how tough they are. Like they don't need nothing. Like they don't need technology. Look, I'll get bit by a snake. I don't give a rip. You know.
Is that a practice to actually do?
Yeah.
Oh no shit.
That's why they're called
cool.
snake bites.
Yeah. Well,
That's literally why they're it's like a rite of passage for a
Yeah.
young snake bite is they have to let a poisonous snake bite them and they have to like suck out the venom.
Yeah.
And that's like the first one. But
And then
then
drink the venom, probably.
probably.
So like I'm thinking because I come from Australia
Yeah.
and so like we got some
So you're used to sucking
some amount of
things.
snakes there. We've got some pretty deadly snakes too that would kill the fuck out of us. But like I'm thinking,
just kill you.
I'm thinking.
Kill the fuck out
If
of you.
an orc went to Australia,
Yeah.
he probably wouldn't give a shit.
No.
But in a 40k science fiction universe, I'm imagining these snakes
Yeah.
are probably like on fucking steroids.
Like
They're probably
they bite you, and it's not so much acid.
Yeah.
It just bit you with napalm.
like yeah, or he
It's
just
got
bit you
napalm
and
fangs.
took your arm off.
Yeah.
And it's like like these are probably like intense level of snakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what they'll do as well is like when they go to colonize like another planet, like snake bites will bring very dangerous venomous snakes, just in case like the wildlife that's on the planet isn't dangerous enough, and they'll release them into the wild and say like go grow,
Yeah.
so then we can have like a threat.
Fuck
Yeah.
me. It's interesting that it's snakes and not like something different. That's science
Like
fiction.
squigs
like
or
a squig or like
yeah.
some kind of made up bullshit.
Squig
You know.
bites, yeah.
Yeah. It's like a snake is. I don't
There,
know.
there is a one squig. I'll save it. Actually, I'll save it.
I mean, wouldn't it be funny if they were called squig bites instead of snake bites?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But their glyph is crude, and it's represented by a snake, and it's commonly tomatic.
Totem.
Totemic.
Totemic.
Yeah, it looks like a totem.
Yeah. In appearance, like it's like not smooth. It's like think of like the letter S. That's not smooth. It's a snake. There's teeth. They're biting.
That's a
It's
great
a
description.
blocky snake. Think of the letter U, but
Yep.
no,
That's great. All right.
no.
No, keep talking,
Think of
please.
like there's clocks, right? And
okay,
clocks
yeah.
sometimes they go in circles.
Like it's like an ocean, right? Like it has waves.
No,
or
it's nothing like an
sorry,
ocean.
sorry, my bad.
Is it like origami?
It's not like
Like
origami. it's like a coat where it's like. Okay, so
What's
know
a
what they
freebooter?
are.
So those were the 6 clans.
Yeah.
And those are all the things you'll find in like your traditional tribes.
And
They're the clans that have stratagems and rules to this day.
I think
they do.
Freebooters do too. Actually,
Freebooters.
I think so.
I don't think they have
No?
specific. Oh, I haven't read that far on the code.
Maybe. I
think
could be
so.
wrong.
I think they're just like a hey, catch-all, open narrative play kind of thing. Like
Okay.
you can kind of be whatever the fuck you want. I could be wrong though. I haven't read it the way through.
I also could be wrong.
Okay.
We could all be wrong. but
Well, you're
we could
probably
all
wrong
be
because you're
right.
mostly wrong.
Yeah. Usually,
and
I've never
I
said a
don't-
single right thing.
I mean, I don't trust you most
No.
of the time. Yeah, it's hard.
So let's talk about the biggest missed opportunity Games Workshop.
Oh my god.
What's that?
It's actually Freebooters. ER. It's not Freebootas. Missed opportunity. Isn't that an odd one?
It's kind of weird, eh? I mean,
Yeah.
like that's probably I don't know, like an American thing, right? They probably would pronounce it differently otherwise.
Why-
But they've
what-
done that for so many other examples. You're absolutely right.
Why does that
Yeah.
make it an American thing?
no
There's a bunch of
consistency.
Brits that write this.
Because they want to say free boot. No, you're right. Yeah. But they want to make it more like palatable to like American audiences by saying free boot.
But they put A on the end of everything. No, it's literally just a mistake.
Well, yeah, that's what
It's
I'm
the
saying.
biggest missed
No, I think
opportunity.
you're right. I think you're right. Yeah.
All right, somebody read this quote. Oi, listen to me. I'll listen to you.
Listen at me.
When is sorry?
Oi, listen to me. When it's talking to ya, we've got, we's gonna go on this ship. We's gonna smash it up and kill anything that gets in our way, and then we's gonna get back on the boat and go home. That'll show 'em. Do you lot of Hume runs understand that? Good. Now, with me. Whoa!
Look at me. Look at me.
Look at me. Look at me. That was the best Australian accent I could do. It's equivalent to the.
You're
Orc.
from
I'm
there,
sorry.
though.
I mean, yeah. That's Captain Gorgle, who is the Ed Kicker.
Yeah.
Ed Kicker. That's a pretty good name.
So freebooters are they're pirates and outcasts and thieves.
You were a
first.
pirate last night, Eric.
Ooh, he was
I'm always a pirate.
Not a good
Bring
one,
that
though.
back. He was doing
I
pretty
was a
well.
dirty pirate.
Give us your pirate voice.
No,
Eric,
that's okay.
please.
Arr. I didn't stop
I
last
recall
night,
you
Eric.
saying something about raping my booty.
That's what pirates do. I was just being a pirate. Gosh.
These orcs are usually orcs that have left their clan, or more commonly were kicked out. They're just the outcasts of the orcs who have pretty
Interesting.
much denounced their
They don't
clan.
belong.
Yeah, exactly. They went too far in some areas, not far
Or not far enough.
in other areas.
And it's really interesting because like we talked about the fluidity of orcs before and like how easy it is going to kind of go between clans or like how like clans kind of
between
intermingle.
clans. You can't go between clans. Like you're a Goff for life.
Sorry, so like there's a tribe of orcs and like the clans kind of intermingle and like there's some kind of mutual understanding. So to be ostracized from every single one of those, like that's a whole new level. Like these freebooters must be something unique.
Yeah. They are typically outcasts and unwelcome anywhere else due to their unorky personality, their unorkiness about them. So there's like an example where it's like you have a mad doc who is basically like not a mad doc, a pain boy. And basically like a pain boy is supposed to stitch you up after battle. But normally they'll stitch on a cool fucking rocket arm for you, but these guys will stitch on something weird. Like, they'll fix you up, but they're going to stitch on maybe, like, a flower, do something weird to you that isn't necessarily beneficial, like a cool fucking rocket arm. So then...
Or they just put, like, a warhead on it.
yeah,
Like, you went way too far.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to blow up everyone around them.
Exactly. Like, they'll take it... They'll just do something weird, and they'll be kicked out of their clan, and they'll go become a freebooter. And basically, they're just pirates, and they band together. They elect a big orc to be their freebooter warboss, and then they start to just pillage wherever they go. And like, literally, the models are literally fucking pirates. Like, they wear those weird striped pants. They wear pirate hats. Their pirate ships, like their killer cruisers, I can only imagine have like sails on them.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems super gimmicky.
Oh yeah.
It's like
yeah.
It's like orcs are orcs, and it's a great race, and it has so much like complexity, and it's awesome, and there's so many like different cultures and stuff.
And then they
these
throw
guys
in
are kind of
literal pirates.
Oh, but wait, we need 40k pirates.
Yeah.
What's the best way to deliver this?
Yeah.
It feels like a tack on. I don't know.
yeah.
It's like I don't know how I feel. Like maybe it's like obviously maybe is super in orky spirit, and it's great, and like you just make the funniest orkiest shit, and it's and it's like hey, let's pirate but orcs. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
I kind of like it. I like to think that
Yeah.
since they're outcasts, they probably seen like an orc pirate, and they're like, "Oi, we do that best," and like they're
okay.
like almost mimicking other like things. There's
Interesting.
In Dawn of War 2, there's an orc who goes after this commissar, and he's a freebooter orc, and he just goes after that not a commissar, inquisitor, because he wants that inquisitor's hat. Like, they're known to like try to not.
That's pretty orky. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
So maybe like freebooters are literally like they've seen pirates before and like no, we do that best. Like,
Interesting.
so
It's like what defines a pirate though in that sense? Is it the traditional like popular culture sense of pirate?
Yeah.
Like how is that different from like what's the clan that like loots? Like
Deathskulls?
yeah, like I mean, are they only in aesthetic differently? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
You're right, it is weird. And like ultimately you come from a clan.
yeah.
So I would imagine maybe there is a lot of Deathskull looters who become freebooters. Ultimately, at their core, their personality hasn't changed,
Yeah.
right? They're still a freebooter, even though they're an outcast and they no longer use that term.
Correct.
In their core, that's still what they want to do.
No, it's interesting.
So I don't know. There's words that can be said about this.
So they band together. They elect a big orcs. Oh, we said that. So so basically they're in the same. They follow the same context of every other orc. Like
Yeah.
they have a war boss. They run around the galaxy and they pillage and loot. And
Yeah.
that is what pirates do, and that's what orcs do.
And-
Essentially, there's definitely similarities there. So
Yeah.
maybe
And
there's
they
a
even
natural
wear
fit.
like jewelry and stuff, like which
Yeah,
is pretty
yeah.
unorky, and they take trophies and all that kind of
It's
stuff.
funny that they wear like a pirate hat.
Yeah,
though,
literally,
which is
like- Pirates of the Caribbean pirates.
yeah, it's just
orcs.
it's like what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's like it's funny. It's like it's both shit and funny at the same time. It's like
Yeah.
yeah.
And you'll find the biggest variety of orcs in this, because like literally
In a concentrated sample.
yeah.
Yeah.
Every one of them would just be so different than the one next to them. Like, yeah. Okay.
So lots of freebooters are flash gits. As love to collect wealth and through trophies and looting.
Yeah.
So I mean that's similar to those are Deathskulls that looted. Right?
Yeah.
So like flash gits, like obviously they're gonna like gold because they're pirates. That's what they do. They hoard gold. So that's what like the flash gits and freebooters do. In addition to they like looting. So some similarities to like some of the other clans.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is kind of cool because they're like their own clan, but not like. Is this technically a clan?
I don't think it's technically a clan.
It's not a clan.
Not technically, right?
No, because you won't find freebooters in tribes.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's what differentiates them. Yeah, good point. Good point.
Okay. Yeah, and oftentimes too that the freebooters will be mercenaries for other races as well.
I mean, in that quote, he's literally talking to humans about how they're going to go kill other things.
Yeah.
So he's working with humans.
Yeah. Which is super un-orky.
Yeah.
Which is what it
Very
says.
unorky.
Yeah. Because orcs only care about other green skin dudes. Like that's the end of the day. If you're not green skinned, you're inferior. But these freebooters seem to like find some kind of compromise and be like, oh yeah, we can actually probably work together for the better.
For an hour until I loot what I need to kill you to loot you.
I mean, what would be the most unlikely like companionship between the freebooter and like a Tau?
No,
like
a
crew,
abhuman halfling.
like a hobbit,
Yeah,
like a
exactly.
40k fucking hobbit,
Like he's like riding on his shoulder or in his backpack or something.
For some reason, they're getting along and like
Well, the halfling has
pirate
painted
shit.
himself green to look like a grot, and he's
grot.
just trying to survive.
Yeah. Or you can imagine like them kind of pairing up with some kind of like chaos entity because they both love for like warfare or combat or something, like, which is super weird because like one is super evil and one is just orky and kind of dumb and just does what it was, and like that's also a weird contrast.
Yeah.
You can imagine like the kind of shenanigans a freebooter would get up to, like.
Yeah. One day I do want to do a orc RPG where we all play as freebooters, and it'd just be so violent and so funny, and we'd just do it for a couple sessions. Eric hates me, but he's gonna play because he's a good man.
Eric hates you anyway. His facial expressions right now are only articulating his surface emotions.
I know. Look at how sad he has become.
That's right, Eric.
I just realized what I have to look forward to, and it's a freebooter RPG.
No, just for 3,000 to 9,000 games.
Yeah.
You got a problem with orcs, mate?
If it's anything like your Tau RPG, we're gonna make some fucking wretched decisions.
Well,
Or any other RPG we've done.
Or we don't have a good track record.
No.
and those episodes will be coming, right?
Yeah. They will be. Eventually.
Stay tuned.
At some point.
January 1st will be coming out.
January 1st.
2024.
So the glyph for the freebooters is the Jolly Orc symbol.
Which is just the Jolly Roger symbol.
Yeah, exactly. Just with an orc, which is an orc skull instead of a human one. Has an eye patch and everything. And
Yeah, it's literally like they're pirates.
Yeah.
They're nothing other than like if you ever seen Treasure Planet, they're pirates.
Yeah.
Like, I love that movie, by the way. Treasure Planet's fantastic. I'm gonna go home and watch it.
Oh, man.
It is actually a great
Interested
video.
in that.
Got nachos. I got nachos at home and pico de gallo, which
Getting even more interested.
Brant just says is salsa, so that's weird.
Brant, what does he know?
I mean, he's pretty much Spanish at this point.
Oh, yeah,
Mexican.
that's true. He has a farm down there.
Does with his chickens.
Can you stop racisming over there for one hot second?
What? No, he said he wants to be Mexican. There is a group of people called Mexicans, and he wants to be one of them.
That's cultural appropriation.
No, it's fine.
It doesn't matter if you admire them. You can't appropriate their culture.
Can you become a citizen?
No, that's cultural appropriation. Unless it's immigration. Then you're
That's
for
the only way.
immigration.
Immigration is so cultural appropriation.
Mental gymnastics
Everything is
are just
offensive.
Why do you think
sometimes.
we have a Chinatown? Is because you can't. Well, I'm just saying, like, if people are Chinese and they come over and they try and absorb Canadian culture, then they're stealing Canadian culture.
Oh,
So you have to have like. Why do you think we have it? We got to have a Chinese sector. You got to have
segregation is what
Of
I'm hearing.
course, because
We
if
got
you
to
have
segregate
that, then no
cultures.
one can steal anyone else's
And
culture.
ultimately that would be
beneficial.
beneficial.
Good.
Look,
keep
race-
it pure.
Interesting.
World races are like a garden, right? You have different flower beds, and they look really
But don't
good
you mix 'em.
when they're sitting next to each other. But as soon as you mix them, you've got a chaos.
Of course.
it's a bad
The last thing anyone wants is a smorgasbord or, let's say, a melting pot. No one wants that.
Let me remind everyone that this episode is endorsed by Games Workshop. Everything you say here is condoned, and everything that comes out of our mouth is from this product.
That's funny. I just got a cease and desist email. That's a weird thing.
That's just for me to get you to stop fucking touching me.
It won't work, Mark. Should I touch him? Yes, I should.
Within the freebooters, you'll find the biggest variety of orcs in a concentrated sample. So what are we saying? Like you've got all these
Dylan, are
different
you
kinds
drunk?
of orcs. A little bit.
We literally just talked about that.
Can I talk about it more?
No, we're done.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
We're done.
Sorry,
We
got
this is
one
my
more
first
thing.
time on a podcast.
No, we have a
I
couple more
apologize,
things.
guys.
But I know where you're going for. Go
Yeah,
for
okay,
it.
go.
Okay, so we're gonna do this tower or RPG. Not just kidding. Cult of Speed. Let's talk about the Cult of Speed.
Cult of what?
The Cult of Speed.
Cult of what?
The Cult of Speed.
Yeah, go on.
Basically, the Cult of Speed is orcs who have banded together from any clan that just want to go fast.
Which is weird.
Which is weird in our mind, because now somebody please email us if we are just missing something. But basically, if an orc, we talked about, and this is pretty factual, like for 40k, orcs have genetically built-in personalities, essentially. Like, you're genetically built to be a goth. You're genetically built to be
Predisposed.
predisposed to it.
And there's no going between them.
No.
Right? Like, you can't be a goth and then just decide, I want to be a bad moon.
Yeah.
It's like, no. Bad moon is like, you're a bad moon if your teeth grow fast.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's
Or is that a
genetically
bad
built
moon?
in.
And you like
Yep.
shiny
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
That was close.
So the Cult of Speed, all you want to do is go fast. That's all you want to do. That's your number one goal.
Yeah.
So why is that not
An Evil Sunz.
An Evil Sunz.
There's already a clan for those orcs who always just want to go.
Was it the Evil
It's
Sunz?
Evil Sunz.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who
so
al-
it doesn't make any sense to me. Why is there's the distinction of the Cult of Speed where you be a speed freak
Yeah.
versus being an Evil Sunz?
Yeah, because why would you be a goth? You're the biggest, the strongest, the toughest,
And then
That-
really
it-
want to go fast.
Yeah, no. Well, then
You're just an Evil Sunz.
yeah.
So the idea, I think, what it breaks down to is that, like, the idea of the thrill of going fast is such a popular idea amongst orcs as a whole.
Yeah.
That it can bleed into every single clan, therefore creating its own cult. But the difference between and Evil Sunz is, like, maybe you just go that extra mile, or you've been in contact with that clan of Evil Sunz, and that's why you're in that clan now. But I mean, it's weird because it's like, well, aren't they the same thing? The idea is
exactly.
like, well, the Cult of Speed is meant to go across all clans, but there's already clan for Speed.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah, like if there wasn't a clan for speed,
Yeah.
this would make sense.
but maybe it's such a popular thing that
Okay.
it exists in every single clan.
Let me tell you something that orcs actually enjoy on average more than going fast. A good fight. So where's the cult of fight? Where's the cult of Daka?
And I think-
Where's the cult of Choppa?
I think that's a very good point.
Right?
It's like,
Like-
why is there only one cult?
If there was
Yes.
a million different cults that had
Yes.
like very particular identities, like if you were a goth that was
Yes.
a part of the cult of Daka, you were like the biggest badass goth, and you just carry around this massive gun because you love Daka as a goth.
Yeah.
Makes more sense.
Yeah.
But if there's only one cult that's supposed to exemplify this going fast, it makes no sense to me. So
yeah, it's just strange.
yeah, like Games Workshop, I think missed an opportunity on this because I think like the idea of cult within a clan, within a tribe, is just hilarious.
No, like, what's the difference at that point? What is the difference between a cult and a clan? Like, what is the difference?
Well, exactly. Like
One is cross clan, the other one is like strictly clan. Like, that doesn't make much.
Yeah, I mean, the whole reason that it
Yeah.
doesn't make much sense is kind of what makes it orky, right? Like, nah, I'm
I
a
mean-
goth that's in the cult of Choppa.
But orcs aren't that complicated because it's not simplistic, which makes it un-orky.
Right, which is why the cult of speed doesn't make sense.
I agree. I think ultimately, if you're
Yeah.
gonna have a cult of speed, you may have a cult of everything,
Right.
and it's
Or
what
just
are you
remove the
doing?
cult of
Yeah.
speed because there's
Which I would
already-
rather see.
I would rather see that. Then-
But I don't know if you noticed, but Games Workshop just pushed a whole model range of like
freaks.
really
Yeah.
a lot of vehicles and
I
cars.
mean, they should just get rid of that entire model range.
Well, I
we don't
think
need
they
it.
really want a cult of speed because have you played the board game?
No.
Oh my god,
no
Dude,
one has.
You got some trucks and some dice, and you can fucking run around a field for a while.
if I want to play bumper cars, I do it in real life.
I think
Or
you
I go
need
play
to
Monopoly.
give them them.
What?
If I want to end friendships, I'm playing Monopoly. I'm not
You want to
playing
have a
Speed
cult of
Freaks.
speed experience, so you play a Monopoly. How
You play-
the fuck
play
is it race
Sorry.
around that board?
Sorry.
No, I think it's a good point. Like, I don't know. I think there's this section on the codex that like it goes into the cult of speed that I haven't quite.
It
got
does,
yet,
but it doesn't. It doesn't say anything other than they want to go fast. And
Yeah.
if you're a speed freak, like I read it last night. Like
Yeah, you're
it's,
right.
it's not. It's not anything new to orcs.
So it's just to push the new model range.
It's
Well,
literally.
It's
well,
really
no,
that.
because the cult of speed has been around for a long
been around for a
time.
while.
Is
It's
that
not-
true?
Yes, it's
Has
not.
any other cult been?
No.
no.
Oh, interesting.
That's why it doesn't make any
Like
sense.
the cult of speed has
Yeah.
been around since like my earliest memory is 3rd edition. Like they had the Battle for Armageddon
Right.
campaign book where it had Templar salamanders and the cult of speed in it. So we're talking like 20 years almost.
Okay, so let's break it down. So like
Maybe not 20.
If it's
20
if it's been
years.
around for
been
so
a while.
long, let's assume that it's such an integral part of like orcish behavior and characteristics and philosophy, like biology.
But it
that-
already exists in the Evil Sunz.
It's cross clan in that sense. Like, I mean, it has to be. Like, you can have a Goff that still likes
Okay.
going fast, but is still a
So
Goff.
do you believe that the need to go fast is the ideal for every orc? Do you think there's potentially
think-
another thing that could transcend, like that could hit even more orcs?
I think it's the most common ideal between each
no way,
individual
man.
orc.
That
is why there
it's
is a
fighting.
cult.
Fighting is way more important to an
Well,
orc.
yeah, I agree with you. Yeah,
Well,
no,
then
I-
that's like your number one.
But then
thing.
maybe that's not a cult because I mean, like every orc likes fighting. But
Well, if you're
maybe
saying every
not-
orc likes speed, and
well,
there's a
I
cult,
guess that's the argument
Fun-
they're trying to promote with Cult of Speed.
Fun fact, that Armageddon book came out in 2000. So only
18 years.
18 years.
Yeah.
That was pretty close.
So, like,
You're like, what? No way.
if that has been
What?
around for so long, like, what does that say about the orc culture? Like, it's like orcs
So-
clearly like
All right,
going fast.
Let's listen to this.
Right?
This is from Lexicon.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
The cult members are speed freaks, orcs obsessed with and addicted to speed. Although most orcs prefer slaughter and explosions, some become addicted to driving really fast. How is that not Evil Sunz?
That's Evil Sunz.
and
Exactly.
that is literally taken from the Cult of Speed page on Lexicon.
Okay, so then what the fuck is the difference between a cult and a clan?
That's
Yeah.
right.
what I'm trying to say, Dylan.
Yeah, yeah.
That makes no sense.
Like, I'm
So
trying to play the
the
devil's
only
advocate, but
the only
it's
thing
tough.
that I
Yeah.
could possibly think of is the cult. When orcs were originally created,
Yeah.
there was no goths. There was no. I don't know.
you
if
mean
this is
when
true.
the old ones created them as quirks?
Bam. Call back to earlier conversation. No, like when Games Workshop originally created orcs, they were just violent orcs.
Yeah.
And then they're like, what about the Cult of Speed? That sounds kind of cool. And then it was created. And then as the lore progressed, they're like, we're going to come up with clans. Goths now exist, but we can't get rid of the Cult of Speed. So to me, I think maybe the Cult of Speed came up first. It was a part of the lore. Then they added on. Now they have Goths. Now they have all these other things. So it was one of those things that didn't maybe transfer over well. But I can't confirm that that's what's happening.
Maybe they want a place for like going fast in terms of like the model range, like all the buggies, all the bikes, all that shit. Then a place for like if you like that aesthetic, if you like that feel, that Mad Max kind of like thing going on,
Yeah.
but you still want to be in a different clan. This
Yeah.
is how you do it. So it's like, hey,
Yeah.
you can still be a Goth, you can still be a Deathskull or whatever, but
Yeah.
you can have a group of fucking war buggies that are in the cult of speed, and that's how you move fast. And like they're
Yeah.
your speed. Like if you want to create an orc army that wants to move fast, maybe some of it or all of it, but still can be part of a different clan, then this is how you do it.
Yeah, and maybe that's how or
Yeah.
why they do it. I don't know. It's not good lore. It's not It's not Primaris bad.
I'm
It's just-
surprised they kept it in the codex and they took pariahs out of Necron codex. I'm not saying I've been holding on to that for a while,
Sounds like it has.
but
Sounds
I
like
have.
you have.
I have.
Clearly holding on.
Anyways, the Cult of Speed. If you know something about the Cult of Speed that we don't, send
Yeah.
us a message.
Yeah.
Because obviously we're probably
You know,
missing
or a
something.
We don't
pick,
know,
like
and we're
either
too
one.
lazy to do research.
Oh, way too lazy. I read all Lexicon has, and I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that Kimura is origami either, but we'll get to that later. Okay. Now, something that we want Dylan to do now, though, is...
Tell us your orc lore.
Yeah.
Because we were gonna read it on the listener lore, but why don't you read?
yeah,
your
since
orc
you're
lore?
here,
Yeah.
share your
makes
own
sense, makes
story
sense.
of
Alright,
your
so
orc with us.
to give context, like, okay, so my orcs are painted pretty dramatically differently. They're
Yeah,
not
we'll-
your traditional orcs.
We'll post some pictures when we release this episode.
Yeah, so it's like 40k is grim and dark, right? And so you look at your average orc army, and it's like blacks and browns and reds, and like and it's weathered, and like and it's meant to be like grim and dark, and like that's kind of the point. So I am not of that personality. My personality is like bright colors.
he's
and,
one
like,
of them flashy boys.
flashy boys.
Flashy gits.
Like I
And a weird
enjoy,
boy.
like strong aesthetics of like vivid colors, and basically I painted my orcs in a style. It was kind of based off like synthwave, like the Miami Vice like faded or pastel blue on a pastel pink, with like some colors in between. Like my knobs are like, so I've got 90 boys painted in that aesthetic, and my
Which
knobs
is
are
a
like
lot.
which is almost killed myself painting a swarm army. But
my knobs are like a pastel orange and like a pastel purple. Like they're these weird, rich colors that are vivid. And when they come up, and it's painted kind of cartoonish, like it's a reverse highlighting technique. So it's bright and it pops, and that's kind of the idea. And it's very different from what I've seen from many other orc armies. Like that's just kind of, that's the way I see it. I've got to be my own unique snowflake. Like this is how it is. So I wrote my own lore to
why they are the way
to
they
describe the way that they fucking are. Anyway, so the name of my orc army is Dabuti Clan. So Dabuti as in da beautiful, like beauty. Right.
Not
Dabuti Clan.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's also the pink war, right? So I'll read out my lore right now because I have special privileges. So Dabuti Clans, homeworld of Glint. A jungle planet of territorial conflict between orcs and an invading Tyranid force, has seen both adversaries waging combat for a time beyond most orcish memory. Originally from home to a Space Marine base of the Firestorm chapter, any Imperium forces have been eradicated or deserted under the pressure of the Orc defense and the Tyranid newcomers. All that remains are the ruins and war gear that Dabuti Clan has repurposed for themselves, right? So when I was 15, I played Warhammer and I collected Space Marines. And I created a Space Marine army called like Firestorm. Anyway, so like come like whatever fucking
So
how many
you
years
purged
later.
this from
Yeah.
yourself.
So my
became an orc.
I got back into 40k in like 8th edition and it's like I just took all the original Space Marine shit that I had and looted it into my orcs. So it's like it's as if my orcs took my original
Remember
Space
I was
Marine.
saying he should have been shouldn't be a golf. He's goth. He should have been a death splitter.
Deathskulls.
Yeah.
Because he's looting stuff. He's looting lore.
Deathskulls is way too cool. Anyway, so originally home to a Space Marine base of the Firestorm chapter, and the Imperium forces have been eradicated or deserted under the oppression of the Orc defense and Tyranid newcomers. All that remains are the ruins and war gear that Dabuti Clan has repurposed for themselves. Their Tyranid neighbors, a swarm of vivid, brightly coloured bugs in rainbow carapaces, could not have been more of welcome visitor to this orc home world. They have provided a competitive challenge and a resource of battle entertainment to keep the booty boys teeth sharp and
Booty
axes
boys.
singing. It's great, isn't it? It's good. Dubbed lovingly as the shiny bugs, it is the unique color patterns and rich, vivid aesthetic of these Tyranids that has shaped a culture on Glint and what it has now become. So recognizing over time that the brighter the color scheme, generally the more large and ferocious or lethal the Tyranid is.
Can I stop you for 1 second?
Yeah.
The cult of color. Sorry, go on.
Exploded my mind. Oh my god.
You
Can I call my army the cult of color? Because you can have any fucking cult you want, right? That's how this works.
Carry on, sorry.
Oh my god. So the bugs are pretty, basically. So recognizing over time that the brighter the color scheme, generally the more large or ferocious or lethal the Tyranid is. Therefore, identifying the prettiest or the most beautiful Tyranid is the fastest way of finding a worthy challenger within the thick junglescape of Glint. Respecting the shinies, complete disregard for camouflage, albeit alien and unconscious, which in fact boasts the loudest colors possible, is interpreted as braggadocious showmanship. And the orcs braggadocious showmanships, and the orcs are hardly going to be one-upped, right? Thus founding the tenet of their culture, which is beauty is better.
No, you got to change that to the cult of color.
Cult of color.
You do.
I kind of love that, actually. Like, that's actually brilliant. Yeah. The culture, cult of color. Yeah. Emerge and the clan of Dabutis was developed by the orcs who valued color and fashion above all else. Now, it is not only important to bash a bug's head in with mighty chopper, but to be better dressed than one while doing so. Many times the orcs could have cleaned up the Tyranid threat as a result of trophy hunting to the Hive Lords, but found it prudent not to obliterate them completely, or they would have to forfeit their greatest combat and fashion competitors. After decades of painting garments and battle training, the greatest warlord of Glint has emerged. Big Booty Gaz, or Big Gaz, a mega orc of bright pink battle armor. His aggressive colors and massive muscles signal the lack of fucking around. He's conquered the hardest of shinies. Orcs gawk at his violent, bright fashion sense. Now he's bored of shinies and he's thirsty for a different blood and cosmetic rainbows. Banding together the Orks of Glint, the Great Pink War has begun. With Big Gaz at the helm, he plunges his pink warband deep into space in search of the prettiest trophies and opponents the stars have to offer. The galaxy is not prepared for the fabulous aesthetics and the soothing sounds of synthwave. And that is my clan.
So good.
Like,
I really enjoy it. Actually,
it's like they realize that not only muscles are better, that fashion is better, because the Tyranids didn't fuck around. They were rainbow Tyranids.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Well, that means that if they don't give a fuck about camouflage, then we don't either.
Yeah, and in fact, the more colorful they are, the more dangerous they are. Therefore, me too.
Yes, correct. So
Yeah.
they adopted the same aesthetic,
Yeah.
which is replicated in my arm. In my arm.
It's really fun because I like to think of it that if your warlord is big enough, like other orcs will start thinking like that too.
Yeah.
If they see him and they're like, "Oh man, he's huge."
Yeah. And
So
look at what he wears.
yeah, so I'm gonna do that too, and then they see all your guys, and
Correct.
so it's just now a bunch of orcs are painting themselves that way.
Out of like pink and blue
Which
orcs. It's
which
great,
makes
yeah.
me even think once again, you're a death splitter,
Deathskulls.
Saluting?
because they're super superstitious as
Superstitious.
well, and they love painting themselves color, including their flesh.
I don't know if it's superstitious because it's just they've just recognized that the enemy that they're about is like doesn't like they're not going to be one upped. It's about ego.
So it's not
about
so much
ego.
that
Yeah.
they're colorful, therefore they're good because they're colorful. It's just
It's like no,
then we're not going to be shown up by.
It's about ego, 'cause
in any area, whether it's the colorful.
essentially.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
well, they obviously they're not going to be less colorful than the foes that
Yeah,
they're fighting.
exactly.
So they don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
So
we're not
they're
going to
already-
lose to you in a fight or in aesthetics.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't win in anything. I
It's
see
a
what you're
pure
saying.
orc
Yeah.
ego, which is
Yeah.
what you'd expect from
Yeah.
like super orky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's good, man.
And my army is just very pretty. Like,
Yeah.
and that was the idea, which is such a contrast from like the rest of the grimdark,
especially orcs.
Yeah,
and especially orcs. Yeah.
but he's not one to fuck around.
It's
Big
no
booty
one
gas.
fuck around. So my Gazgul model, like he's obviously in like power armor, or whatever. It's painted bright pink, and it looks great, and I'm very proud of it. Which is good. It's just cool. It's cool to see people interact with the army in that way.
Nice.
Yeah,
I like
nice,
it. Thank
nice.
you. Thank you for sharing.
That's good shit.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll do another listener lore eventually. We get a bunch actually.
Oh yeah, I felt really bad recently about our lack of putting out those episodes.
Yeah.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Listener lore episode is coming, correct?
Yeah.
I'm sure TM soon, right? Like,
How many
Listener
how many,
lore,
How many
Weed
stories have you
Hammer.
gotten in?
Didn't we
Lots.
put one out in
we've
a month ago?
put one out, yeah, but we have like enough for like 4 more.
Yeah, we probably got close to maybe 40 stories maybe.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So it's about 2.5 hours of just shitting on people's like creative narratives. Is that?
That's what I prefer to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Like we even shit on Games Workshop's creative narratives. So what's
And they're paid to do it.
Yeah, they're professional writers.
Yeah.
Well, I really respect you holding back on mine. That makes me happy. It's only because I'm here and I can like.
Oh, you
confront
can fist
about
fight.
it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
Let-
a true orc.
Yeah.
Let's get into some listener questions that we had though.
Okay.
Yaga asks Jordan, Eric, Mark, and whichever guest you fellas have on, if you were orcs, which clan? Well, he said culture, but which clan would you belong to and why?
For me,
Yeah, I want to know that. What's your clan?
Bad Moons.
You're bad moon.
yeah,
You
shiny
rich.
boy. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be rich.
Yeah,
Flash
that's
kids,
what he's
fucking
doing.
money,
His
money.
whole Kijiji thing again. He's trading up and down.
Buy low, sell high.
Perfect.
Jeez,
That's great. I mean, you know mine. Keep going.
What's yours?
Goff.
he's a goth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm fucking Goff. The bigger the orc, the better.
But what would you personally be? Because you personally, sorry, you're not a goth.
I mean,
Excuse me. I'm not saying that.
What did you just say to me?
I mean, like, fuck. I don't know. It's a bit of a breakdown. Like, no, I mean, like, I'm so attracted to the goth. Like, I would want to. Well, yeah, I guess me personally, no, I'm not the biggest and baddest of orcs. But like,
No.
maybe my mentality would be. It's like I kind of respect that. Like, you just go, you orc and you orc hard, and that's kind of like where you're at. I'd want to just go ham on being an orc, I guess. Because I have a lot of energy and like I can see myself kind of putting myself in that perspective. Like caring about shooting or caring about going fast doesn't attract me as much. I'll probably still go with the Goff.
Okay, that's fine. I don't got one.
All right, I'm a Blood X.
What are they?
That's the smart ones. Not the smart ones.
The sneaky
The
ones.
sneaky ones. Yeah.
Tactics.
Yeah, the tactics, the ones who
Commandos.
the commandos, the order and the discipline. And I don't think it's because I particularly enjoy order and discipline, but I just don't think I'd be able to deal with the chaos of being an orc.
That's interesting.
So this would be like as close as I can get to still surviving.
Shine your
Or it
boots
could
and
just be a
salute.
freebooter.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Because I'm edgy. I'm an outcast of society. You can't tell me what I am.
You're a loser is what you are.
You like pirate hats.
By the tone in my voice, I was being sarcastic.
You're so unique. You're just like everybody else.
I mean, you've liked freebooters forever, so.
Yeah.
Is that what you're...
I don't know what I would be actually.
You're Deathskulls.
What? Looting?
Constantly looting
Oh
everything.
fuck yes I am. I've stolen a lot of stuff that I should not
Yes.
have. Good call, Eric. Good call.
Deathskulls.
I thought that was Christian.
That's the key
No,
to
no.
your success.
Christian loots what I just straight up steal. Because
Christian-
Christian looting is, it's not stealing because somebody didn't value it enough. I straight up stole from it.
Christian wants to be a Goff.
Oh yes.
For sure.
No, but he's a grot.
He's a grot.
Ultimately.
Yeah, no, he's not allowed.
Ultimately, he is.
I mean,
Grot squig.
he's a wallet squig.
He is the flesh wallet.
Are you saying that you put things inside of?
Oh yeah.
For safekeeping,
all
Mark.
he's good for.
For safekeeping. Sean says, hey guys, obviously orcs are the best. And the best orcs are always Deathskulls. I mean, everyone knows that.
Following the logic.
Yeah. But let's get down to the real question. If the orcs see the Yumi god as an emperor, if the orcs see the Yumi emperor as a god and his armor is gold, how come the orcs don't start wearing gold armor to become invisible like the god emperor? So interesting.
Invisible like the Emperor.
Yeah, well, because
The Emperor's
like,
invisible?
no, invisible as in like invincible,
Oh, I see.
not invisible. So I think like it is like an orc thought that the emperor is like really powerful, right?
No.
Isn't that a thought?
He doesn't have green skin. So, go
Nah, but orcs can still recognize a good fight and a powerful person when they see
Sure.
one.
Even your orcs claim to recognize big bugs as
As powerful.
they understand it. Okay.
And if they ever found someone that was better aesthetic than them,
Sure.
would they be like, whoa, he must be stronger than us, let's go try and take him down?
My orcs, yes. So, like, how it translates to tabletop is if I fight someone, I attack immediately their most well-painted model. And I ignore all objectives.
So-
So my orcs would, yes, if I had the Emperor's on the table.
But isn't there like an idea, like even a fan theory, not a fan theory, but more of like someone connected the dots that says like the reason that the emperor is still alive is because orcs believe that he's
yeah, you
immortal.
guys have talked about it before. Yeah.
Right,
It's really
but
funny.
like
yeah.
that is a that's a theory of people connecting dots. But they're like orcs do have a thought on the emperor, and they know he's powerful, right?
But they've never seen him.
You can neither have as any human
So how do they know he's gold? Right?
stories.
art.
I mean, can you claim that orcs are keeping up to touch with human stories and like
Yeah.
the aesthetic of the fucking
I
Emperor?
don't know. They literally would see him in all their banners that as they fight humans,
I'm gonna guess.
right? Like,
guess.
So
So why don't they adopt gold? Is that the
why
question?
don't the orcs wear gold? I mean, they do. The
Some
bad
of them
moons.
do.
The bad moons wear
Yeah.
gold,
Yeah.
but they definitely don't wear it for that reason.
Because some of them have other priorities. That is why.
Yes.
Thank you for your contribution, Mark.
Told you well.
One thing I was on Reddit the other day, and they're going on about like top misconceptions about 40k, and like I think sometimes we give too much credit to the orc wog effect. Like
Elaborate.
an orc gun still needs bullets to shoot. Like
Right. That's what Gretchen are for, to find those bullets.
yes, like if an orc believes his gun has ammo, sometimes it might somehow actually still be able to fire. But I think that aspect gets way overplayed.
I think it's less of like a warping of reality and an
Yeah.
affecting of chance.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like-
yeah.
Like if they have a little bit of gas left in there, like,
Yeah.
and they know it's only a little bit, they're like, nah, it's gonna last forever. So it lasts
Yeah.
for way longer than
Yeah.
it should.
Yeah.
But that's just because the engine is running really efficient in that moment.
I think it's a heat of the moment thing.
Yeah, I think we give it too much credit. So having said that, I also
But
don't
also,
think
the power of a galaxy-wide wah.
I also don't think orcs are quite aware of this power that they do have. It's not a conscious thing.
It's not self-awareness, correct.
So I don't think
Yes.
they would be like, oh, the Emperor wears gold, he's invincible. If we wear gold, we are also invincible. Our psychic field would then make us invincible.
I agree.
I don't think they have that much of a thought process.
Yeah.
I
don't think so.
No, I agree. I think they don't have enough exposure to the aesthetics of the Emperor to contrive that, and I also don't think they're self-aware enough to like change their aesthetic in order to like.
Yeah, like they're genetically made to be what they already are.
Correct, yeah.
Like,
I like this question. James asks, how do orcs carry orders over long distance?
That's the question I fucking had to you earlier.
Yeah.
It's a very good question because you have all these wars going on. It's not like orcs have the same kind of psychic capacity that humans do. How do they communicate over long distances? That's a very good question to you Lawhammer professionals.
first of all, why do they need to communicate over long distances?
To pull other orcs into their wog.
So orcs can feel like the wog energy, like it's a real thing. So if a wog is big enough,
like transcending star systems.
Yeah, like you can
Well, it's
feel
kind of like
the
the audiobook
wog.
we're listening to. It's like they were
they're
orcs
like
were talking about the
wogs.
weird boys are going crazy.
Yeah, like a wog is coming.
The wars, they just
like
know it.
They know.
Oh my god,
So-
guys! I just realized what "wa" is. Say "wa" again, Dylan.
War.
It's war. Do you hear that?
Oh
What?
dear God,
What?
Eric.
What? What? I'm gonna bang the table, but I won't. My God! Holy fuck!
Mind blown.
It's not wog.
That is mind blown. I've said "wog" my whole life.
It's spelled. Isn't it spelled WARG?
No, A.
Oh, just
G-H.
GH.
Yeah,
That's funny.
But when a Brit says it,
Yeah, it's like
Says
they
it.
kind of.
When a Brit says
Or an
it.
Aussie, they
When a
add an
little
R.
Brit says
Exactly.
it.
They add an
Oh,
R
it's
to
a
it.
war. It's just a
It's a,
little war.
a
Don't
very
worry
subtle
about-
R.
that's
Or
funny.
it's just a little orky
No.
war. Don't
So
worry
having said
about
that,
it.
sorry.
Jeez.
Hello. Like they're not communicating tactics or
Yeah.
like they're not communicating like information. They like the way they get in contact with each other. They can like feel that wog
Yeah.
energy building.
And I think the only reason they would ever need to communicate over like planetary or bigger is a wall. That's the only
Yeah.
time. Like they don't care. Like, hey, we're running low on food down here. Like
Yeah,
no
like-
other orc gives a shit.
Yeah, please sector from above. Come down.
Right,
here.
yeah.
Because it's the size of their tribe. That's the reach, the size that they're affecting,
Exactly.
which isn't intergalactic,
No.
right? And
But
it's only
if enough orcs pick up on the same
Yes.
wah frequency, then
Yes.
it will at some point grow and grow and grow.
transmute to other planets, which is what we saw.
Yes.
The audiobook we're talking about is like Prophets of War, which is like a 3-part series by Guy Haley or whatever the fuck. But like in it, they're like, "Hey, a war is coming." Like some of the orcs have a sense
Exactly.
that the that the war is coming, and the weird boys are going crazy or something like that. So let's assume that the tribes have like multiple orcs and multiple weird boys, and that some of them can like sense that
Exactly.
this thing is happening or not.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's like a direct communication
Exactly.
thing. It's more of a feeling and a sense, which is very orky in
Yeah.
in the respect. Yeah.
So boom, there.
I think that's it. I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's 100%. And if ever they like, I also think that orcs don't need to communicate a lot because a lot of what they do is
exactly.
instinctual.
Exactly.
Yeah, so like when they're in battle, like it's an instinct
Yeah.
that they're going off.
Yeah, and in battle too, they do have like radio waves and like they do have.
Yeah, you'll
they
see
do
people.
have
You'll see people
technology.
with walkie-talkies and stuff if
Exactly.
they need
So,
to.
if they
And
really
I'm
have
sure.
to.
I'm sure if they really needed to, like
They'll
have like a
yell
real
loud
communication, like even like across planets,
Yes.
they'll make technology.
Shout a boy.
Shadow Boy is not a thing.
Do you think they just rip out? Do you think they just rip out a Shadow Boy's vocal cords and install like a radio in there,
Yeah, they use it for like a
like a megaphone?
yeah.
Like a horn of Gondor.
JS asks if red is faster, blue is sneaky, yellow is money, and purple is invisible, and blue is supposed to be lucky, isn't it?
Blue is actually lucky.
And black is death, or white is death. I mean,
White
So
is
this person
Black
is wrong,
is
so you
dead
can just
arm.
stop the question now.
What special quality does teal have in orc culture?
Teal.
let's go to our master of teal.
Mine
over
isn't
here.
teal. Teal is a different color than what
What's
I have.
teal?
Mine's like a light. It's like a pastel blue. I wouldn't call it teal.
All right,
It's
so
like
teal is a color made
that
up
is not
of.
the color of my orcs.
Is that teal?
That's teal.
That is not the color of my orcs. That is more blue than that is teal. Yeah.
Teal is made up of blue and green. So green has a color in orc as just being orky,
Yeah,
The best.
and blue is, I mean,
a lucky orc, I
Lucky.
guess.
it's a lucky orky
The
orc.
best orky. So, I mean, is there actually like written rules for what teal is?
No.
Or
No.
is this guy just picking?
No,
up
he's
the
just
color?
like, hey, like maybe he has orcs painted teal, and he's like, oh, like I wonder if that means anything.
Well, sorry, mate. Your orcs are meaningless. Your color scheme is wrong, and you made bad decisions.
Jeez.
You should probably play a different army. Sorry, mate.
Says the guy with
honest.
pastel colors on his
I'm
goffs.
doing it right. They don't care about camouflage. Go fuck itself.
Jeez. Yeah, I guess teal is just lucky orc.
Yeah, sure.
It's just a different blue, like essentially.
John asks, is there such thing as enough DACA? No.
You know what? We can. This is a multifaceted question. We can break down into many components. But I think it would take at least 7 more podcasts to really get into the depths of the root of this question.
Of DACA.
Yeah.
I think ultimately, I mean, if it's binary answer, we're gonna go with no.
There's never enough.
Not enough DACA.
Unless you got enough choppa.
Well, you can make up for a lack of DACA if you have enough choppa.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's the beautiful harmonious relationship between Daka and Chopper that makes the orcs the strength that they are.
And his second part is, what would you guys say is the most interesting, obscure, and scariest trait about the orcs?
Repeat the question.
What is the most interesting, obscure,
Or
scariest thing about the orcs? Doesn't have to meet all these qualifiers. What's something orky?
What's the craziest thing about orcs?
I got an answer if no one else does.
I have something.
Go
It's
for it.
controversial. No, you're first.
Okay. To me, it's how the genetic information built into them. Like when they crash, or when they're on a planet and the planet only has crossbows, they only use crossbows. But as soon as something else comes into the area and they have firearms, orcs somehow flip that switch and they now equal technology, like of whatever comes into contact. To me, it's scary because potentially the orcs have not capped yet. Like there could be potentially no cap on their level of technology that is automatically already in them.
Like you're hurting yourself by increasing your arms race against an orc.
Yeah.
Because an orc will always be bigger and always be tougher than you, and if their technology matches, like it's a losing race for a human. A human will never win against an orc.
Yeah.
Ever.
But you need more technology just to try to counteract the fact that you're smaller, not as tough, not as strong. So you need technology. But now he is tech. So to me, that's the scariest thing. Like,
well, it's interesting because like they land on a planet that has inferior technology, so they adapt to that to be more like, let's call it honorable fight.
yeah,
right,
they
in
want
those
a good
terms.
fight.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
So land on a planet that has advanced technology.
Yeah.
Do they then suddenly like get some weird biological impulse to like pick up their shit and like equal that in some respects?
Yeah.
In which case, that is like they could extrapolate it infinitely. Like
Exactly. Like
Like,
we don't know
you
what their
technically
cap
haven't
is.
seen the
but we haven't seen that. That's not a commonplace kind of thing.
No, I'm saying you haven't seen the peak. You've never seen the peak of
Sure.
it because, like, technically everything they have right now matches what every other army out there has. Like,
That's very interesting. Do you think it only goes backwards, or do you think it goes forwards as well? Do you think they
it
can
goes
actually
forward.
go? Then it's
no.
you could-
Would they lose technology if they landed on a primitive culture?
They would
yeah,
purposely.
I think they would. I don't think they would lose it. They would willingly
Oh,
abandon
yeah,
it.
yes, that's a good point.
That's the difference,
Yeah.
right? If they landed
But-
on a planet that has advanced technology, do you think they could just like impulsively get more advanced technology to? Yes.
Yeah.
And is that like infinitely like exponential? Like
we don't know, and that's to me what is
Right.
scary. We don't know what the orc's peak is.
That's interesting. It's
Yeah.
very interesting. Yeah.
That's what I would say. Eric?
I think it's interesting that the orc haven't evolved at all over the past million years, millions and
Here we
millions
go.
of years.
Originally they were a different race, right? They were the odd boys.
They were just called
They were the
Krogs.
brain boys.
They were just called Krorks. That's all.
Is that not different from what orcs are?
Oh, it's just a different name.
Oh, okay. They just labeled themselves different.
Same being though.
Go on, Mark.
I have nothing to say.
Mark and I had a good conversation about this before the podcast started.
I'm like, yeah, they're definitely evolved, but
They were at each
We have no
other's
idea.
throats.
We have no idea.
Mark, I don't know if that's your thought. My thought on orcs is though something that I kind of hypothesized was like orcs to me had no need to evolve since their very beginning creation, and that was like I kind of pictured the old ones when they created the orcs like. There was no evolution required. They literally just spawned the orc fungus with like the ability to generate itself into bigger and better forms from the get-go.
Yeah.
And so it was like, years into creating the single orc fungus, now you've got an orc wa.
Yeah.
And that was like my thought is like I thought that was like really cool because it's something so simple that kind of grows on itself.
Yeah.
But then it also always goes back to that single orc fungus. And then Mark was like, no, like every other race, like they would have had to evolve over like millennia to like actually get to the state of where they are now. So and we'd have no idea what it is.
Now I'm not an evolutionaryologist.
Right.
Oh, yeah?
Neither am I.
I love when you say
Anybody an evolutionaryologist?
I love when
I've never
Jordan
heard of
giggles
such a
like that. Like, but he's truly happy.
Sometimes I say things just on the hope that he'll giggle.
But so just going back to like unlocking things in their brains, would that be an evolutionary brain unlocking? Would that be evolution?
But the only thing is, like, they didn't have to earn that, right? Like, everything we have, we've earned over, like...
Trial and error and...
Right, exactly.
creating the best and the strongest.
And millions
of
of years of learning what works and doesn't work. Whereas an orc never had to do that, in my mind. It was just literally, like, whatever's around them, they're adapting to it. And that was, like, they've never had to evolve that trait. It was just given to them.
Yeah.
Or like maybe they were. I don't know.
You never know. I don't know. I like to think that they've been like the perfect being since day one.
They've gone from snotling to Grecian to orc. Like they've just kind of had this like society hierarchy. Like it's been the way it is now for all time.
Yeah, and it's never been anything other than that.
And even the way we formatted our episodes, our third episode was on orcs, and then we didn't do another episodes for almost 20 episodes on orcs because we did everything you need to know about orcs in the first episode, and nothing really changed for them. There's no story arc to them.
No history.
There's no history. Like, you know what orcs are now.
Yeah,
like,
I would argue you didn't need to do another episode after that one because, like, after orcs, like, why would you want to know more lore?
because they fucking suck.
I mean,
right?
I guess you can continue. Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's
orcs have a really cool, mysterious history.
Yeah,
and like everything else, like we know the Eldari history, we know humanity's history. We know Necron. I mean, Necron Tur, we don't really know, but there's a lot of blank spaces in orcs.
In fact, all of it,
which is cool because they're kind of like the biggest mystery of the galaxy, and also like I don't know, like it's interesting because of this weird kind of like fluid, you can like creative space where like they're kind of the slapstick kind of comedic humor of the universe at the end of the day. That you can kind of do anything you want with. They're like they are super fluid, like. And it's they have this interesting like holding in the 40k lore, like, which is cool, which is needed because it gives that room for creativity and growth.
Okay, I think one final thing was say here. So
God, this episode is long.
Is it? What are we at right now?
I don't know. It's like
2.5 hours.
Okay. So the final thing
for doing Ork Klans. Let's be honest. All we did was Ork Klans.
Yeah, that's obsessed.
Yeah,
excessive.
How are people still listening at this point?
So the one final thing. So, do you like your orcs dangerous or do you like them goofy? Because there's some people like them dangerous, some people like them goofy. Yeah. I personally like a dangerous orc. Like I like the dark colors. They're gonna fucking rip you in half. Like when you see an orc coming to your planet, you're not giggling and look at, like it's a fucking terrifying creature.
Like have you heard Dan Abnett write an orc?
I've never.
That is a fucking like scary.
Like
the way he
that's
puts
what
into
I like.
words. Yeah,
like,
it's a beast. It's the beast.
Exactly.
Like, that is scary shit.
So my vote would be for dangerous.
Okay.
I like an orc that is brutal and dangerous, and you take it seriously because it could fucking eviscerate your whole world, but then turns around to its mate and says something dumb. Like, it's that happy combination.
Yeah, it's not that I don't like the comedy aspect. It's just if I had to choose one or the other. That's the question. If you had to choose one or the other,
I like brutal on the face.
No, you have to choose one or the other.
Comedy
Dylan.
So you want both of them? Okay, me too. Ultimately.
I mean, because everyone can't commit.
But you're talking about two different facets of its own personality. So
I know,
like,
but
which facet do I appreciate more?
Yeah,
which do I like more?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the brutality at the end of the day, because they do just crush skulls. But like,
oh boy, here we go. Okay, we know your answer. Both of them are good.
They're very good. Correct.
I love seeing amazing conversions that are so goofy and wacky, and I love the ideas.
That's orky. and you scream that at
it's
the monitor.
so orky, and to see like these big orcs like using like squigs as like parts of the machine and grots and
No, actually, I changed my
like
mind.
I like the goofiness of the orc.
Correct.
Now it doesn't mean I don't appreciate the deadliness
Oh, no,
of an
no,
orc.
yeah.
But I get so much more enjoyment out of seeing a goofy orc model than I do out of like a terrorizing
Correct.
orc
And
model.
it's what converted me back is it's the phrase of "that's orky."
Yeah.
Which is not true of like any other army.
Yeah, you
really.
don't say that's Imperial.
That's how
Imperial.
That's Space Marine.
Yeah.
It's because it's funny. You go, "That's orky," and that's what makes it great. That's
enough,
actually
yeah.
the best. Yeah.
Jordan, do you have a preference? Men, women, what are you into over there?
Non-binary.
Mostly men, but
Mostly men. Makes sense.
Only for their riveting and intellectual conversation, though.
yeah. No, nothing.
Okay, well, I think that's that.
I
then.
think that finishes our Ork Clan episode.
Check out our Facebook if you want to win a $89 game.
Woo! Yeah, check it out.
That came out 10 years ago.
That came out.
Apparently, it's a great game.
It's a great game. January 1st, we're going to release Tower episode, so subscribe so you don't get a
You're gonna get a
30-hour
massive download dump.
download dump.
Yeah.
Don't forget to resubscribe.
Check out our Patreon. Check out our Redbubble. Check out our Facebook. Check out our Instagram. Check out our Twitter. Yo, we got it
Yeah.
all.
If you want to message us, please message us. Tell me about your listener lore. Tell me about your cats. Anything else I don't care about.
Pickles. Tell them about your pickles.
Okay, tell me about your cats. Tell me about your listener lore or your pickles.
Yeah. Thank you, Dylan, for coming on the episode.
I mean, I guess like, why did I move here again?
For this.
I don't know.
Now that you have done this,
now you can go home.
you can go
I
home.
guess I can now book a flight. I think I'm done. I think
Yeah.
I'm done.
There's nothing else.
You've
up
done
here.
everything in Canada you wanted to.
You know what? The codex took too long to come out. Like this podcast took too long to get a hold of. Like I think
You thought you were only here for a little vacation, and it's been a little longer than
fuck
that.
off. Yeah, this is a pretty intense. No, I mean, I appreciate you guys, I guess, but I haven't listened to a single episode since I moved here.
Well, you don't need to.
Yeah. I'm sure you
Anyways,
get your fill of us now.
Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks, my brothers. Brothers.
You have to say it like an orc.
Brother. Brother.
No, that's like a Blood Angel or Blood Raven Space Marine.
What was? Brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, brother. That's the orc. Get over here, brother.
Get over here, brother.
Are you gonna give me a war? Is anyone gonna? Jordan
No.
has to sign us up with
okay.
a war.
Until you do it.
You gotta yell "wah" really.
Sorry, man. I know.
But make sure you do it.
That's what I expected out of Jordan.
We did it.
Okay, see you later. Bye.